Yeah, except there's no junk. He doesn't have any. He's bare down there, so there's no junk to cut off. The Lorena Bob. Yeah, hey, yeah, they say the Lorena Bobbitt Barbie, where she comes with like a knife and a set of junk in her other hand.
Every time I hear like Barbie apart, I'm thinking like IKEA Barbie.
Oh, she's a feminist hero right now.
IKEA?
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah, like you have to put the Barbie all together.
They have her speak at universities.
So cringe. I'm surprised anyone's going to let her on the property. That's crazy.
Well, she stood up for her rights and cut his dick off.
And the fact that he survived and then became a porn star.
Franken dick.
The audience in stitches.
Like that, yeah, like that porn from Temple Grandin. Temple
I
Grandin.
saw you sneak them in.
You remember that Temple Grandin movie?
No.
They made a porn called Temple's Ramdin.
Okay,
no.
They made a porn for everything.
Yeah, they
They're forward for everything.
when I was in
Can
high
you
school,
check
I worked in a
our
video store.
Feeds, how
They
music
had, like,
is and sound and everything.
Ladies there used to make
Last
these
time was
little
really good.
things they didn't want to
No,
do.
no stack issues. I also see something's moving that microphone. I don't know what's doing it. But I had purposely set this up
Ghosts.
so that this was not touching that cable. Something's been.
Hey, we just got through a hurricane, buddy. Things are gonna happen.
I think that was one of the problems I had last time. Is that if any of the equipment like touches those cables because they're not they're not high end shielded. Okay. You know, they're designed for this caliber of work, but if they touch anything that's giving off too much power, they'll get staticky.
Could that be the answer to what was the problem last time?
So they're just not
Could be,
very-
yeah.
They're not like super shielded cables.
Right, because shielded cables are like $200 a pop. These were $15. I was like, fuck that.
It's a bit of a difference.
All right, guys, talk.
Talk about what?
Hello.
Hello.
Talk about anything.
Anything?
So have you looked at the news this morning? It looks like there is
We haven't gotten home yet. We're still fleeing for our
We're still
lives.
playing for our lives. So
Absolutely
they had
not.
to put shotgun rounds in our buttock.
have you known that my driving is impeccable? Therefore we are right on time. In fact, we are therefore we are fine.
AKA she grabs a baby.
I am the perfect driver. I should drive from ever.
Tom Slick.
The cap of it, you don't really want
Tom
to hear
Slick.
anyway.
You know who Tom Slick
Oh, I
is?
remember that show. That cartoon.
Slick.
Yeah, but you gotta be like,
Hanna-Barbera.
you gotta be like 105 to remember that.
It's like, you know what happens.
Well,
to Fred?
there's three of us here, or four maybe, that might remember it.
Who?
She
What?
walked in.
Yeah, he Fred is.
Fred
The
Astaire?
lion, the sidekick, the
Fred-
super chicken.
Yeah.
He drinks
Oh
it.
yeah,
He
Super
drinks-
Chicken. I didn't remember what he did.
He drinks the super sauce.
Right. Mighty Mouse. Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse.
I love Danger Mouse.
And,
Mostly because of
George of the
MTM.
Jungle.
George of the Jungle. That was so stupid, but funny to watch.
If you think the first one was stupid, the second one was worst. I couldn't even get past the intro.
I named it Cockatiel, George, because
Oh, you're talking about the movie?
no, we're talking about the
We're talking about the
A
cartoon. Here.
cartoon that was probably 35 years ago.
at my shopping cart time.
Or
We
that.
had,
You're still floating around in someone's
Well,
sack.
see, I'm 50, and I was probably watching it when I was like 8, maybe that, probably 8.
I know a lot of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons were made in the 60s and 70s and got repurposed in the 80s.
That's probably true too.
Yeah.
Repurposed.
we had stenciling at the top of grapevines and grapes, and the cockatiel would fly up and try and land on them, and then she'd fall down onto the couch. So I started naming her George because she would fly and hit the wall and then fall
So
down.
she had terrible depth perception.
Terrible.
Just like a mom.
See, that's a lot better than the birds at my house when I was growing up. We lived in an A-frame, and the birds would eat the pyracanthoberries and then like nest in the eucalyptus tree. But because we were in an A-frame house with glass, they thought they could fly through the house and then break their neck, and I would have to scoop them up off the balcony
Yeah, that
before
sounds
they
a
like
lot more.
turned all maggoty.
Didn't you just eat them?
No, they're like little tiny things. I mean, if you were to eat it, you'd
Sparrows.
probably have like maybe a bite.
You just flash fry the whole thing. Just eat them whole.
They do
Now,
that for
why would I do
sparrows.
that when I could go out
They
in
eat
the
sparrows
backyard
like
and
that.
quite hugged up?
Of course, it is the Middle Ages where they'd eat anything.
Yeah, but it's not like you had to actively go hunt them. I mean, they were killing themselves in their unique living environment.
I would just say if we want to make an investment, I found on one of my Facebook group sites, house up in Alaska, on an acre and a half on a lake for only 65,000.
People get cancer quite easily up there. because of the-
Alaska,
Yeah, it's Alaska.
just the front line of climate
You
change.
would love it,
Uh,
but you have to.
I wouldn't
You have
say,
to
well, what? If it's a really global warming, that's going to be the place to be because the rest of this area is going to turn into a desert in Alaska will be paradise.
I know you want to live where permafrost has
Why
been
do you say
isolated for
Greenland
millions
was
of years,
Greenland?
and then the unique diseases that have been dormant for well over
You've been watching
100,000 years is going to come crawling out of the permafrost
Yeah.
and start eating your brain worms.
He's watching the thing too
I
much.
met someone who moved
Well, no,
from
actually, it,
Alaska.
right now
So,
in the Siberian tundra,
Oh yeah, no, I've heard
they're
about that.
recovering like entire mastodon herds that have been frozen for
Yeah.
like haven't been seen for like 500,000 years or whenever
Yeah,
you know.
diseases that basically have been dormant the whole time.
Yeah.
Won't that be exciting? Mercedes
Oh,
was
this will
funny.
be so cool.
Mercedes
So,
and-
so we talked about abject failure from last week.
Hey, there's never failure. Only learning.
What's the learning?
Is that what we're calling it? A learning experience?
We got our
Of how not to do something.
We know what you're talking about.
We jumped
I
in.
told
a
you
little
we should have
bit.
went to the mountains.
Yes, yes.
We probably could have like uncovered like a flare and all kinds of stuff if we had gone to the Vital Foreign Mountains.
All right, then let's go there now.
But we need to recover.
So let's do our resource managing first.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I do not believe you made a milestone, correct?
I think it came up too short because somebody was not very.
Well, I know I need to use my med kit.
Oh yeah, so basically that would have been a bonus if we would have got it.
Yeah.
Here's a question: if we still have ticks on our med kit, could we use them to take away things? Or is it
No, because all your
you have to use it during the mission,
equipment
right?
resets at the beginning.
That's what I'm
Well,
wondering.
it's not a matter of resetting. You can use it during the session, just not during resource management.
Yeah, so you can't use it now. So
Correct.
it resets our.
And you can only have
during-
one med kit.
Yeah.
So do you want a half-used med kit or do you want a full med kit?
No, I want to use the rest of my left one and then get it.
Okay.
But
Well,
he
shoot, why
said
don't
no.
we just take a long rest?
Wrong game. Wrong game. That's the wrong easy button.
No red button allowed.
No, I will keep my I
Easy
will keep
button.
my one body and one brain because I'm probably not as far gone as most people are. So I think we can keep those resources.
I definitely need a body.
I don't know.
I
Do
took
you have a scar yet?
I took
Yeah,
two
hammered
bodies.
that last.
I was pretty close, but she ended up getting a score before me. I was feeling kind of pissed about that.
I want a cool- I want to have a cool scarf for
That
when
would
we
be
win
cool. I
the
was
bar.
totally
Talk
waiting
about my
for
cool
it.
I
scarf.
should have used my flashbang on the shotgun guy. I probably got away with that. I didn't think about it.
It's funny how that faster
Because
pace.
that fast- Yeah, I didn't have a chance to jump in.
Yeah, so it's almost like a first come first serve environment where the pace you just have to kind of like jump. It's kind of like jumping on a marriage
Time
license.
out.
You just got to leap on there and say, okay, I do this. Because that's where I have to like manage the balance of what
You
you're
have to
doing.
try to moderate the order of operations.
Correct. So, How are you guys doing resource management?
We have 3 stitch left. We have 2 refresh left. And we have 7 train.
Perhaps train
I'm
some.
good on everything, so.
What does the train do?
It gives us extra die to use during this next game if we use split. Or, however.
Or how many? Yeah, you can use actually however many you want to use.
An extra die to use once, or
Yeah. To gain 1 bonus die that you can use on any roll in the next game. Now, is that per person or is that per group?
The circle.
For the whole.
So
Okay.
it's per group.
That's for the circle.
So,
We have 1 die. So we can take one of
basically,
those.
we can tell, hey,
You
why
take
don't
2
you
if you
use that one?
we haven't
Technically, you
we've
take
been
2.
We've been using that.
Well, sometimes the creativity of your environment allows you to
2 bonus
take an
die
extra D6 as well.
that we can use.
Only once. One of us can use it. Once.
Yeah, once it's used, it's done. All right, who's hurt?
Who isn't?
I have 3 body.
Who's
So
hurt?
does he.
Bad.
I have 3 body and 2 brain. But I'm good. I wanna see how long are you go before I'm dead.
That's okay, because I'm a masochist.
Yeah.
I have 1 brain, 1 body, but I'm good. I'm good.
Iggy, you're up.
Honey.
No, I'm good. I said I was good by good.
Refresh. Stitch.
Because you already took a scar, right, Beth?
Bullseye stippling.
The journey so far. Team coming together at first to solve the riddle of a seemingly immortal individual who was once a lighthouse individual who was identified and running multiple circles. She, however, fell into a strange kind of malaise or coma effect after a necklace was stolen. Supposedly stolen. As you discovered the charm, made discoveries into who the individuals involved in both the theft, but it was also the discovery of a thinning in the seance room of Lillian's estate. Here we met our new lighthouse keeper, Brockmeyer, or Brookmeyer, or Monkey Paw, depending on the intelligence rating of your
Monkey
character.
Ward.
I just called him Monkey. Montgomery Brookmeyer.
This then led into the understanding of a antiquities museum that was sponsored by the Hargroves, as well as curated by someone that goes by the name of Blackwood. And we discovered and interfered with a ceremony that was taking place in the basement of the antiquities, in the storage area. Here a box was recovered and the person was saved from whatever ceremony they were attempting to invoke some kind of either ability or power. Then, after the retrieval of the coin of Caligo, the team went into a condemned residential neighborhood, discovered a house that seemed to have been haunted. In actuality, in the basement of this house, probably more accurately, a cellar, a zombie-like creatures were discovered, as well as a manifestation of a statue that seemed animated, but there was also a kind of barrier, as possibly another thinning was discovered. This then led to a dinner party and a room filled with dolls, including the unconscious form of the Hargrove daughter. Anyone remember Hargrove's daughter's name?
Elise? There's like Elise or something?
Elise. Yes, Dr. Elise.
Yeah,
Dr. Elise Hargrove, who was in a coma state ever since she...
It's a Trisha.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Trisha. I'm thinking of one of the handmaids. Never mind. Trisha Hargrove, Dr. Trisha Hargrove, a PhD, not MD, had been excavating a site that was being sponsored by a connected construction site as well as being sponsored by the Hargrove family. She fell mysteriously ill, was brought back to the Hargrove estate for recovery. Fortunately, she failed to recover, but the team did find the semblance of a possessed doll, recovered it, took it to the vaults of the Obscura. All of this led to a possible all this led to possibility of trying to find a missing person, a reporter, a individual that went by the name of Jasper Quill. This led the team to either the idea of going to which mountains did I say?
Vitalborn.
The Vitalborn Mountains, or locating the Angus Asylum, or Otis Asylum, correct? And taking on the Otis Asylum instead to try to see if maybe they had any information about the possibly being the source of the people that might have been corrupted in these recent events, whether it was a construction site or other incursions, especially if it was the dinner party. The team had discovered at the asylum that not only were people being medicated for the purposes of being lobotomized, but Roscoe had discovered some hard evidence in the basement chapel of the evidence of the obsidian chapel, as well as evidence of occult material related to an organization called the Obsidian Eye. This leading us back to the possibility of both librarians and others that might have been connected to this based on things that they were wearing at the time. But overall, the team found themselves mostly being led off of the estate and eventually trying to sneak back onto the estate into the middle of a ceremony that was taking place after seeing the Hargrove daughter being stretcher beared into the chapel itself. The team then found themselves spotted as they tried to sneak into the back entrance of the chapel.
Spotted and shot.
They opened the squeaky door.
As the team fled and being pursued, a huge explosion inadvertently set, but not set, by a particular Elizabeth.
Eventually done, but it was a little bit.
The team fled out the destroyed wall into the car and fled back to their residence to figure out what to do next. So did we do our resource management? Does everyone have what they need?
Well, I would like to be better, but
I think we need to contact Brockmeyer. Let him know what's going on at that asylum.
right. Does someone want to get on the phone that doesn't call him?
999. I mean, yeah.
Stanley picks up the phone.
I haven't spoken with Montgomery for weeks now. I don't
I mean, he could be dead.
do that.
So you guys reach out to the Obscura. Lighthouse keeper Brockmeyer answers the phone.
I thought it was Stanley.
He's there. Actually, there's been 3 different people who have answered the phone. There's been Stanley. There's been an administrative assistant from time to time. So it's, if anything, it's just a direct line that allows you to converse with the Obscura in many variations.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to find out the things that we've given them. What do they find out?
But we also need to make him aware of what's going on in the situation.
I'm too hard to do.
It'd be nice to know what happened to the
And
lady.
we might not want to be here because we're probably getting looked for.
You need to get out of town.
We need to like go
We
up
need
into
to
the
retire
mountains
to
into a
my
hotel.
country and see.
Yes. Hello. Who is this?
Hi, Stanley. It's Alexander.
Oh, thank you. Yes. What can I do for you?
No, we need another car.
Why is it not
I
Stanley?
didn't break the car.
Did you destroy another car? I can hear them in the background.
The car's fine.
No,
Oh,
but we need to swap it because
Oh, yeah, we were spotted with ours, so it might be.
spotted by who?
the asylum people,
You might
What
want to just
asylum
come join us
people?
for coffee.
the alias asylum.
Explain what happened. Ben.
Starting the conversation in reverse.
Invite him over for tea. He's gonna need it.
Gigi would like to have tea with you. I think she likes you.
Oh yeah.
Give me a sway.
Yeah,
Didn't you
this
know?
way.
My humble English.
Double 5.
5 high success. Very well. I will be there first thing this morning. Let me finish my breakfast and I'll join you for mid-morning tea.
We'll make sure we have sandwiches.
Bring another car.
Second time I've heard someone mumble about a car.
We
What's
might
going
want to meet
on?
him somewhere
Those
else.
are expensive. They're not cheap.
We might want to meet him
Car's
somewhere
fine.
else.
Oh, okay. Well, I hear it again. Trade what?
Car, people were spotted, and well, I was shot, and
We'll explain it over tea. I was shot.
Somebody was shot?
yeah, it hurt.
Oh.
I was so cute for nice. This hurts.
Bring medical kits.
So as you guys are waiting for Brockmire's arrival, you're wrapping up your breakfast and you have the local newspaper. Go ahead and give.
I have the funny pages.
You have a local paper. Let me
Mean on the inside
open
of it,
the
it's like funny
store. Go ahead and give me a focus, if you would, Elizabeth. As you're reading the paper and partitioning out the breakfast table.
Make some adjustments to my arm.
Good news, bad news. I got a 3, but they're both 3s, so I get one of my focus back. How exciting!
Drive back. It was gilded.
Yeah.
The paper has no information in regards to what happened at the asylum. The only thing that you find one article of interest. It's a picture of the daughter Hargrove. She has recovered from whatever ailment she's on. And there's a blurb about her returning back to the Collegium to continue her studies and her work as teaching.
Gotta get out there before she goes back up there.
That's quite suspicious. Look here, everyone. It's the daughter.
Take the eggs.
So
Eggs and bacon.
she's
Anything else?
so they're summoning some
Sausage.
last night made for better,
Cucumber
or
sandwich.
is it actually mine?
That's not bad.
We probably possessed.
Well, we never did get that far to check it out. We don't know if we were actually exactly.
We were shot. What did you think was going on
We
there?
also snuck onto a private property.
It was an asylum.
Indeed. Perhaps there are crazy people there, and
In
they
a
need to be
chapel.
controlled. A restricted chapel.
I want to go to the bar. Anybody want to join me?
I'm not trying to say
Are you here for tea with Stanley? I mean, Monkey?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
You met Brockmire?
Montgomery Bruckmeyer. You haven't. He's the one that brought you here.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Sorry, I can't. I was drunk when I met him.
You're always
Not
Does that
drunk.
make a difference?
I'm not always drunk.
You are. You're drunk right now.
No, I'm not.
I know some very active.
Broccoli actually functions better.
Why do you think I want to go to the bar?
Because they have different alcohol than we have here.
Brandy tastes differently in the bar.
It's definitely more expensive.
Just taking the quality of the.
I'm gonna call homeboy at the department. Talk to him about whether. Oh no, he set me up with that girl. I need to go talk to her.
Might need to be a little bit more.
I guess.
The prostitute that I was gonna hire for a job.
Contact your buddy.
Yeah,
You remember her name?
yeah, I have it. Let me, I was just about to look at my notes because you were starting to get specific. Like, what?
It was more like punishing specific.
Give me your name, bro.
What'd you get over your tank top, man?
I can't hold it like this. Or my,
Cactus.
it's a
Cactus
sword.
Bob.
It's a sword. It's squishy. It's
Hmm.
a sword.
Oh, it's like a cactus from the other side.
I know, but it's a sword. Sword. My character should it's a saber, but
I stopped taking notes. I got my sleep-inducing vial, and then that was it.
I know I didn't
put-
take notes a lot last game either.
I didn't take my notes.
My notes end with we failed and ran.
But
You were dragged.
My notes ended with
Strawberry Jones. That was her
Zombie
name.
Strawberry Jones.
Not you after your explosion.
no. See, the last thing I actually wrote down was that about the zombie dust and the 10 people that were entering the dust. Six. 4 were holding the stretcher. There were 6
And then
others.
there was other roads.
Actually, I have to find it myself. I was hoping you'd give it to me.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'll write it down now. I have 9%. So hurry.
9%.
I have 19%.
I bought Glot today.
My closet lives in your room, not mine.
There was a storm yesterday.
Yeah, we were dealing with a hurricane,
An earthquake.
a deadly hurricane.
And an earthquake. At the same time. We didn't
She went by the name of Altina. Altina Aloysius.
She's delicious.
She is.
Also,
Stage
Jeff
name.
Quill had gone missing. He still didn't learn
That's
anything
correct.
about that.
You just wrote her. And you do know she resides.
Said, look,
You know that she resides in the Red Lamp.
shocking. But okay.
A 3-story building behind a head shop known as the Red Hare. Hare. And everybody knows to find it because the front of the facade of the shop is painted with the image of a red dragon.
All right. While we're waiting for this guy, I'm going to go do that.
Okay. Go ahead and give me low risk. You can give me a survey. I'm going to track her down.
Survey. All right.
Yeah, Jean, take a look at the newspaper. I'll let you read it for
As I'm adjusting my
Six.
arm, I realize I'm electrocuting myself.
With steam power.
Wouldn't you be burning yourself with steam?
A little.
Static electricity, the rubbing of the copper rods. Are you taking the car or cab?
No way. I'm going to take the car because the car's been made. I take a cab
Take
and
a
I
cab.
have the cab pick me up like 5 blocks down.
Okay. So you drive through the different downtown sections of Newfaire. You wind up on the edge of the Red Lamp. The cab pulls up in front of a head shop. The head shop's name is Abigail's. Behind it, an alleyway that leads to a 3-story building with a painted image of the Red Hare on it. Windows, balconies, like wraparound porches, the whole kind of New Orleans facade. But it's early enough in the day that there's not a lot of activity. You make your way down the alley towards the corner of the streets that have combined to make up the boundary of the building.
Mhm.
You see a very thick-looking dock worker sitting on a stool in front of the only door that seems to lead inside. As you approach the entrance, don't think we're open yet, buddy. Maybe you come back later tonight.
I need to come back now.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I need to talk to Aloysius. Mrs. Aloysius.
May I Ask who's calling.
Yeah. The guy that broke your nose.
Broke my nose? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Boom! You strike him?
Yeah.
Yeah. High risk.
That's what he was looking for.
Alright.
For his name, he's looking for his control.
Yeah, that's a strike. High risk.
All right. That's fine. I'm gonna take a couple. Make sure I do a good job here. Come on, I gotta keep this.
I love it.
I gotta keep the grid of my character going. Oh hell yeah, 6.
You strike him. He's like in shock, like he doesn't understand what you're saying, and then his eyes go cross-eyed as you plant your fist right on his nose, and it splits up and over, and like the nose splits open and blood flies out, and his eyes roll back in his head, and he just totters on the stool and onto the ground.
Okay. I'll roll him. Does he have any money?
Yeah, you can give me a survey.
You are the best Disney cop.
All right. Do something illegal.
Actually, give me a
I
focus.
just did that. Okay.
Give me a focus as you inspect.
Focus as I inspect. 4.
4.
Did something
I mean, he's got a wallet in his pocket that has a few Newfaire bucks in it. His ID. You do find a union card for Bradley Construction.
I'll put that in my
Yeah,
pocket.
you like kind of tuck that away. You also find because this is technically a mixed success. So you also, and I really like the creativity, just knocking the shit out of the guy. You find a handwritten map of the asylum.
All right.
That's all you find.
All right. I'm gonna knock on the door.
Knock. Yes, darling. Can you help me?
Yeah, I'm here to see Altina Aloysius.
Hey,
Yeah,
oh, one moment, please.
thank you.
What name shall I give her for calling?
Guy who broke your nose. Right through the little window. No, I'm kidding. No.
Google.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, do like this Three Stooges eye poke.
Yeah. What? Oh, wait, I have to go back to see what the guy's name is from the
Police station.
police station. O'Malley. Tell him a friend of O'Malley's is here to see her.
Oh, she puts her fingers up and O'Malley. Please come on in, won't you?
Sure.
And she. And then the door gets dragged open. And that's when you realize that the building has no windows on the first floor.
Yeah.
So when you come in, it's just like one of those old school speakeasies.
Uh-huh.
No windows, wood paneling
No door.
everywhere.
Okay.
And you look, you can see an empty stage, an empty bar. There's maybe 3 very scantily clad women wandering around, along with 2 very scantily clad young men wandering around.
Could one woman that was behind the door be like,
You might-
"I have a
you might wanna
big
get-
body." She just didn't look like she was like the.
Oh, monsieur, my name is Marie. Let me go and get Aloysius for
Miss
you.
Marie, you need to get someone for your front door. This guy's a drunk. He's
What's wrong
passed
with you?
out. He's
What
passed
happened
out.
to George?
He passed
Stephanie?
out. He
My
passed
God.
out and fell down and
George.
hit his
And he
face.
watches these women go running out there and start tending to him.
He fell down and hit his face. He's so drunk.
Kept walk through the hail of craziness you just created.
Mhm.
You see a
Baywatch woman.
heavily tanned, short-haired woman staring at you. What you looking for Aloysius for? And she's currently got a joint hanging out of her mouth.
And I need to find somebody, and if I come looking for him, he ain't gonna come see me.
If you're looking for Aloysius, that must mean you must know Matt.
Yeah, you can't.
I know who O'Malley is. Let me just tell you. She comes over and looks you up and down. She kind of like goes down to grab trowel. You ain't O'Malley.
Yeah, I've heard.
No, it's referring to the size of your lump. Her hand slips
Oh,
over your pocket.
I got enough in my wallet too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, have a seat. You drink cocktails in the morning, dear boy?
No, I don't get rolled by hookers, so I don't drink anything that's offered.
Don't better back that word around here.
Oh well. Okay.
Fine. It means that you're educated.
Okay, so here's the deal. I want you to find Axum. You know who he is, I'm sure.
Oh, of course I have. They found his body this morning. Down by the Harborwood, over in the Harbor section, down by the river.
Who's
down
got
by
the body
Coast
now?
Yard. No, I think the primacy or one of the local police departments must have him in for autopsy, perhaps. I don't know.
I give her $20. Thanks for the info.
Yeah,
We got a back door out of here.
No, really. I mean, I could take you upstairs and you could climb out one of the other balconies, but
That's all right. I'll go out the
okay. But pleasure meeting you, Mr. Not O'Malley.
Yeah. Pleasure meeting you. Seeing you around.
And you've got to like step through the archway of the front door,
Mm.
and he's like, "Oh, what the heck happened?" And he's got blood pouring down. The girls are cleaning.
I just like quickly like
yeah,
hail a cab and
yeah. You find
Go
the
back.
cabbie. You're not sure when it happens, but as you come out of the alleyway through one of the cross streets, you hear it. You look, and there's a spark and a chip. And you look up on a second floor, and you see a curtain. And you can hear someone running. It looks like someone just took a shot at
they ran into the building.
you. You're not sure. It's the second floor. The window looks disturbed. Give me a focus as you kind of stare at the window that you think the shot might have come from.
5.
But curtains are flapping while there's no wind. So somebody definitely shot from that window. You look, and the building is 2 building rows over, but it's elevated above the first story buildings.
Mhm.
It's probably 2 alleyways over. And you can hear somebody running in the distance. You can hear the clack of their heavy boots, and you get the feeling because you can hear them, they're probably police boots.
I've already come to the conclusion that O'Malley sold me out and had that guy killed because I asked too many questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cab.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell him just go down this way, go slow, and I want to see because if he's running, I'm gonna start circling the block to see if I can see him come out of the block area. If I
Give me a
see,
survey while you're doing
okay, if I can see him.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. I get paid by the time. It's all good. And he's just like following your instructions at this point.
4.
4. Big success. You don't really see a sign of anything, but there's one thing you notice that's a little strange. The local constabulary of this particular area of the Red Lamp looks to be a little bit beefed up. As your car drives around the corner, to continue seeing if you can spot somebody, there's a paper boy. Extra, extra! Cop found dead down by the shoreline! Cop found dead down by the shoreline! You like pull over and the kid's all, paper mister?
Yeah, here. O'Malley?
It's O'Malley.
Damn it! Son of a bitch! They kill everybody I want to talk to!
It's O'Malley.
Damn it!
And it's a really, it's not a great sketch, as you know, photography is still very expensive, so it's not like it's a regular occurrence, but
Yeah.
it's one of those kind of lithium sketches that's like in a partial engraving, and as far as you can tell, it looks like him.
All right. Okay. Go back to the.
Okay.
Go back.
Eventually, you guys hear the of the car, of the cabbie out front. Roscoe coming inside. You guys are just wrapping up breakfast. Roscoe's back, so it's like more mid-morning at this point. Is there anything you want to do while he was gone, waiting for Brockmeyer's arrival?
I want to look at some more of my texts, my arcane checks.
Okay.
I wouldn't delve into anything more.
Go ahead and give me a focus. Do that.
I don't know if there's anything in our personal library, but there's one of my library of Paradise. I want to say to learn as much, see any articles that come out of the asylum that we just left.
Go ahead and give me a focus as you spend some time in the library basement with all the hanging archive newspapers.
I want to go through the papers from the last couple of that we have a collection of.
Okay.
And look for anything on Bright of Morn. Might be like a sign or whatever.
Give me a focus as well. What'd you get?
So I used a focus, but I got a 6 on my gilded, so I got it back.
Yeah. As long as you accept the gilded roll, you get the drive back. What'd you get? 5. Okay. So for you, yes.
I want to practice my singing.
Give me a control, if you would.
Control or strike?
You're practicing, so that would be finesse.
Because for the
For the scar, you swapped that out, didn't you? Okay.
I don't have anything in control. I've been using strike for.
Have you?
Something.
Okay, give me a strike. That's fine. I guess controls everyone who is shooting guns.
Yeah.
Right. Strike is break knockdown. 6. Nice. You've earned yourself an extra D6 on strike for the duration of the session. You use it once. So for you, Mechanicus, you come across. Refresh my memory. What were you looking up again?
My auntie on the other side.
You come across one interesting thing that leads you to possibilities. One thing that you begin to realize as a possibility, you find virtually no information about the Obsidian Eye at all. The only information you do find is on the church that resides on Otis's estate, that is the Obsidian Chapel. That is the oldest building that has currently survived post Old Fair. So the structure is one of the original Old Fair structures that was purchased when the Otis estate was established. But the building had been there long before then. And it was originally an excavation site that the university was excavating for the Otis family, and got its sponsorship through the Hargrove family. Well, newspapers. You're looking for specific references to what now?
Anything that comes in and out of the asylum, anything that's newsworthy. What?
To the Otis Asylum in particular, or there's
The
numerous asylums across the city.
one we just came.
That's the Otis Asylum.
What was that?
First, it was the Otis.
Davis?
Haley.
No, it was Angus. Sorry, it was the Angus Asylum.
Yeah, there's no G.
Oh, sorry, Elias. It was the Elias Asylum.
Oh.
That's right. That was the Dr. Elias. The Elias Asylum is one of the newer ones. You discover that it was commissioned within the last 20 years, while most of the other asylums have an established commission that goes back almost 50 years to a century, comparably.
And it was hastily built.
It was very quickly built. It was the Bradley Construction Company was commissioned for the construction of the asylum. One of the main sponsors and benefactors and mentors or benefactors of the asylum is the Hargroves, along with Blackwood, Captain Blackwood, and a couple other individuals from the primacy. It's one of the few asylums that you discover has a direct link to some pretty established families at this point. You also come across a piece of artwork that has been deemed, it's basically identified as the shadowed mind art. And the artwork is a sketch in one of the newspaper articles. It is a piece of art that is at the Antiquities Museum under careful preservation and curation by Mr. Blackwater, who's the primary curator of the museum. It tells of a period of time that an organization called the Shadows believed in the idea of an existence between two places of reality. And it dates back 400 years. And the Shadows the main thing you see in the painting is a reference to the obsidian eye that you remember seeing or hearing Roscoe talk about on the inverted chapel of the obsidian chapel. Yeah, you went through a couple of them that spanned over like 10 years of information. And you spent a good 1 to 2 hours kind of gathering up all that information. And you got a 5, Nero. And you're going through recent news clippings about any recent activity related to the mountains. With a 5, you come across one very important piece of information that might be interesting. The excavation site is no longer under temporary hiatus due to the illness of the Hargrove daughter. But currently, the curator of the Antiquities Museum is currently operating the excavation site. So, evidently, a relic had recently been discovered that is requiring his special attention. Yeah, eventually, you guys all kind of come back for mid-morning tea with Brockmeyer.
I was trying to hastily write down as much as possible. So can you tell me if I missed any points? I got it has benefactors such as the Hargroves and the Blackwater.
Blackwoods, Captain Blackwood.
Blackwood.
Blackwater is the curator of the museum.
It was hastily built by the Bradley Company. It had a sketch of an art piece that is called the Shadowed Art and Shadowed Mind Art, and it was in Blackwater's museum. And the meaning is like the shadowed existence between realities.
Correct.
Okay,
and you noticed an image in the painting that reminded you of Roscoe's description of the obsidian eye.
Okay. And it was 400 years old?
It was many centuries old, although they haven't really technically dialed in how old they thought it was. Iggy, anything you want to do while everyone's gone and kind of
wanted to check out that pop watch and they said they had like markings on the inside of it, see if it had anything to do with the arcane text.
Yeah, give me a focus. High risk. Hold on.
Good drive. But I'm apparently at the,
5 on my drive. So,
it looks like it's fine. No, because on here it looks fine. Well, Ever's like, he's got to be in a. There you go. He's got to be in a
lazy ass.
I got 5 on my drive.
5 on your gilded.
And,
if you take the 5, that means she gets it back and you get it back.
that was my highest.
Yeah. The pocket watch has some strange writing on it that you don't recognize. But what you find really interesting is while you were recharging the bleed detector and you had opened up the pocket watch to look at the writing, there's a slight moment that the bleed detector just failed. That caught your attention.
Am I in the room?
Not yet. No, you're kind of just off, waiting for them to come back.
Kind of like, yeah.
Will it be able to either take the papers or get copies of those papers?
They don't make copies. They don't have copy machines. You can take notes, but that's about that.
I kind of want that picture of the art.
You can give me a control to see how well you can copy the art beats.
Just cut it out of the newspaper continuum.
I could do that, but I'm not sneaky. Oh, but I don't need to be. That's a 5 on. I have a 4 and a 5. But, you know.
I just had to do some
Five. You do a pretty decent job of copying the painting into your notes, so they'll get the gist of the information when you show it to them. Cool. So by mid-morning, everybody returns, kind of like sitting down in the living room, waiting for the arrival of Brockmeyer. There's a knock at the door.
I got
Hello, hello, Giggy.
We're all
Good. See, is it that? Mind. Anyways, it's
Have a cookie.
yes. Gigi, listen, before we go inside, I want you to understand that our relationship needs to be professional. I can't get involved in affections in considering the work that we do. So as much as I appreciate that you're madly in love with me, I cannot accept it. I apologize. I wasn't. No, your friend Alexandria mentioned that you were hopelessly in love with me. Is that
I
not
don't
true?
think she even knows what gender.
Oh. She is kind of. Well, my apology. Anyways, hello everybody. Good to see you. Roscoe, you guys are looking a bit.
Can I get back?
Yeah, you're all back. Yeah, yeah.
Just making sure I'm there.
You're all looking a bit road weary.
Now,
I bring up Sam.
remember when you said that,
Thank you very much.
man, I want to find that thing that killed my partner, and you told me that the group could help me out, but you know what? I've been shot at, beat up, blown up,
Having the time of your life.
shot weird ass things,
I got shot the other night.
and
Having the time
everybody,
of your
all
life.
my contacts, including the ones at the PD, are getting killed and dumped in the alleys.
Sounds unfortunate. I'm not actually aware of what you've been doing for the last few days, other than when we secured the remains of the doll that you managed to recover for us.
I tell them about the
It's
about
all
the
complicated.
asylum
Adventure
and
asylum.
The possum.
and
Interesting. The Angus Asylum has been a point of interest, although we've never really had the ability to gain access to it. So, in
we did.
particular, you found out.
Well, we busted a hole in their outside wall. It was nice.
Well,
This is very bad.
we got this obsidian eye cult thing going on down there.
Silent. They shot at us.
Speaking of, I
It's
found some
really hard to
notes
do,
about
but if you can find someone who looks as
Next to
gorgeous as
Gulf
me, there's an
Museum.
application I have that you can go send somebody for a job.
Let's just say we tell them everything
Your
that we've
tendency
done.
for your hump to move will make that difficult. But I'll do what I can. Thank you.
Well,
Folds it up, put it in his vest. Anyways,
Let's just say we
where's the
tell,
tea?
we tell them everything we've done until now.
You need
take
something
that a
stronger.
flask.
Oh no, I've been on the way.
Remind me when I was a kid.
I'm sorry, Roscoe. You were saying.
Yeah, I explained everything that's happened up since the time you dropped me off.
Okay. Somebody took a shot at you.
me.
Yeah, some cop.
Oh, yeah.
And when we went to investigate at the courthouse, we were followed, and the gentleman who followed us, we
He was at
found
the asylum.
at the asylum.
Bring it
Was
in
he-
that daughter.
As a patient?
No, as an orderly.
He was
Oh,
bringing
working
in that
there.
daughter. That daughter, doctor daughter.
Interesting.
Dr. Fisher.
Yeah,
So
that
you can
doctor
assume
daughter.
that the Angus Asylum and some of these other things might be connected somehow.
very much so.
It sounds like, based on what you've told me so far, that number one connection might be the Bradley
Indeed. And
involved with the
Hargreaves.
construction.
And the museum. I'm gonna push my notes over to him.
Yeah, I just ran into one of those Bradley construction guys. I had to rearrange his nose on his face.
And that doctor daughter lady, we saw her going down into that chapel unconscious. And then in the newspaper, they showed me a picture.
Yes, I read that article this morning myself. She made some kind of miraculous recovery. Said to go back to work within the next couple of days. I found that a bit hard.
After all of that time with COVID, she's going right into back to work.
So the Bradley company. And now we ponder the idea that maybe the site they're currently working on out in the Bridleborn Mountains. Perhaps that's the next step. Maybe that holds the end of our clues.
And the chapel which we attempted to enter.
Roscoe said it had a giant eye up the top.
Tell us, what do we know about this?
Obsidian Eye.
Yeah, that one.
We have run into their cult members before, some 6 years ago. They were attempting to smuggle in an artifact to the harbors that unfortunately led to a very egregious outcome. Cost many lives. It was linked to a shipping accident that occurred outside the harbor space of the main canal, coast of some 185 souls went down. The relic was never recovered, but we kept our eye on the organization in the group for a bit. We discovered when they were operating out of the Tardigrades, and they were dealt with.
According to my research in my text, the chapel was actually an excavation site
On the Angus estate.
on the Angus estate.
Absolutely.
It was actually built a long time before the
The
asylum.
previous
was
cult members, we were never able to track them down to where they sought their refuge. They were discovered in a residential hideout, best way of describing it. They were wanted for kidnapping and murder. They were discovered and dealt with by the primacy. I'm not entirely sure if I recall there was a link to the Angus estate at the time. They were found in the Tardigrades, which I believe is at least in the general area. Correct.
Well, I'm going to suggest that the primacy might wish to investigate that particular chapel.
I can certainly use my contact in the periphery. They are responsible for the active police and other investigations. We have a couple we have a couple former lighthouse members. I'm inclined to agree with you. The ascendancy, the primacy, and the periphery that make up the triumvirate. We have some trustworthy allies, not many.
Hargrave was also donated to the asylum.
He was one of their main sponsors. I'm the museum for.
So is your main concern that the Angus Asylum is the source of where they're getting these bodies that become vessels to whatever they're doing?
Considering that they lobotomize the majority of their patients.
Do you have proof of that?
Yeah,
Indeed.
I got some medicine.
The reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're all
Because
wandered around slobbering.
the primacy passed a law some 4 years ago outlining that practice. None of the asylums are allowed to use it anymore.
How much do you know about Captain Elias Blackwater?
Blackwater. Or Blackwater. Captain Blackwater.
I could have still known as Blackwater.
Blackwater.
There's the Blackwater.
Because it was his ID.
Blackwater, I think, is the curator of the museum.
No, Blackwater was he's
We
the
had Captain
police.
Blackwater's wallet.
He was
Sorry, Blackwood is the curator of the museum. I get that confused.
I'll switch that in my notes.
That's
So
right.
Captain Blackwater
is the
is
police
the,
officer.
is
Yeah.
the, is the police
Yeah,
officer.
we thought
captain.
we thought he was a captain on a ship.
Right.
Water.
Captain Blackwater is a very influential gentleman of the periphery. He's responsible for 5 constabularies, the Red Lamp, 2 in the Varnish, and 2 within the.
I was told he has a very, very high standing there at the asylum.
2 within the South Side as well.
Of course she wants some of it.
I say tread lightly with the price the harbor.
Yes, they're a very influential family. I agree.
You said
Sounds
the-
like all the influential families are in on this.
Which
That's
actually
not all of them.
makes
Yeah,
me
my
With
family.
the law, they couldn't pass the law. Someone in law force was able to change that around, and they were still able to do that.
It's not always easy to get the necessary paperwork to get onto people's property, but
He
I
does
do
seem
have
like
a
gentleman that could do it, though.
who.
They'll have it all cleaned up. They're on. They know we're
I
on.
don't
to
think Captain Blackwater can be trusted.
No, but what if you could pass the law to be able to get the lobotomized?
I'm confused.
He's not the lawmaker, he's the law enforcement.
But he could be a law breaker too.
he
You
can't
want
pass
him
the law.
lobotomized? Is that what you want?
Yes. Wait,
Do it.
what are we talking about?
Absolutely.
Hold on to your humps.
There's more than one?
Let me get the slobbery cross away from me.
I didn't think you were.
Um,
No, can you imagine how many there are now? Because, like, first there's one, apparently there's more.
Did your head count just one?
Does it?
No, that's a lump.
Oh.
Those are humps. Her head is a lump. Its head is a lump.
Hump?
now, it looks like
It?
looks like to me that they're insidious. They're in every branch of the government. I mean,
Convent itself is quite a bureaucracy.
I was talking to my buddy O'Malley over there about a guy that double crossed us on a job. I was looking for him, and now him and O'Malley are dead.
Well, we can definitely say that anybody within the constabulary that's associated to the story could be a killer. Why kill O'Malley? Because he was contacting you.
Yeah, he was my contact at the station.
Interesting.
He was probably asking questions or something. And
Why were you looking for accident?
he double crossed us on the job.
That's why I
She
got
got
shot.
shot.
Ended up her getting shot, so I was
That
going
was
to
at the dinner
take
party,
care of him.
correct? We covered the doll from the estate.
Mhm.
By the way, I do have some information for you. The pronounce this right. I'm trying to get good at memory. Oh, I need to pull this guide apart. My one notes are wrong. The EON, the Exoteric Order of New Science, is doing some research on it. We have a date on the doll that you found, as well as possibly occasion to certain geological bits that we found. Remains. The doll itself dates back some 500 years. It does predate that. Need to be an authentic relic of old faith. Means somebody managed to get that out of a well protected and well curated museum. Antiquity is necessary. Well, however, the granulars that were discovered in the crooks and crevices of the remains of the doll were matched to the mountains, the Brittleborn Mountains, I believe they are.
Battleborn, not the
Battleborn? Or
Battleborn, not
Bridle.
the Bridle.
Bridleborn, sorry.
Bridle.
Yes, the Bridleborn Mountains. So I think this is our first direct connection to the excavation site that they might be working with. As far as the coin is concerned, the coin can be dated 500 years ago as well. But it is a replica of a much more ancient object. somebody had purposely made a reproduction of an object that's meant to be used as a operation of an astral lathe, a ancient device used to predict solar patterns and planetary movement. This coin can be put into an entrance section of the lathe and can reveal either a truth or if the lathe is connected to a possible riddle that would reveal the answer to the riddle. I'm not sure. These are things that I'm not too familiar with.
Hence the box that we found down in the museum.
Yes, I think the intent was to use it on the box and retrieve something from the box, but unfortunately, the mistress that made the attempt had gotten it backwards. The coin should have been used on the lathe. The lathe would then be revealing of how to use the box. Now we have the box. My conjecture, as well as those of the Explorer and the Order of Sciences, is that somewhere on the excavation site is this astral lathe. The lathe has the coin inside of it, and it is designed to give you access and understanding of the box. The people study begun to realize that the information on the boundaries, the edges, and the sections of the box that contains the description and the understanding of what's inside of it, believed to contain an ancient blade of sacrifice, linked to an ancient civilization known as the Inacoa. Now, this is true. There are many violations of both relic recovery, institutional violations. Your head in my camera view. I don't know why that's doing it now. I don't know if you just never sat forward. An ancient civilization that lived on the outskirts of Newfaire, known as the Inacoa. Inuoia. Inacoa. Correct. Now, based on the information that you've been able to bring back to us, we think the statue that you discovered was also part of whatever ceremony they're attempting to do. We think that based on both this information that you've brought to me and the information that we've been able to derive from what you've made in your discoveries, is that they are attempting to bring a creature into existence. They are looking for a strong thinning. This ceremony is supposed to reveal this thinning, a sacrifice is to be made. And then a beast from the flare is expected to use this person as a vessel. I think what they've been trying to do is they've been making attempts, practices at these things. The construction sites, the former lighthouse keeper, her seances. We think she was making some possible revelations around the attempted incursions and things that this order is attempting to bring back into existence. Fortunately, that is all that the eons have been able to subjectively understand and organize.
And in the text writing that we've been coming across, have we been able to decipher it?
The what?
In the writings that we've been finding, there's been some.
Unfortunately, it's of an ancient language that we are unfamiliar with. We believe, we thought at first, it might have been the indigenous writings of the Inacoa, but it does not match the cipher or the understandings of the language that we have. The one thing we can also Inacoa as well is that they believed in what's called the shadowed moon. They felt that the moon itself was a portal into another realm of existence. who would have vision ceremonies, spiritual ceremonies that enhance their knowledge and understanding. They would take a concoction known as spectral weed. It could be derived into a liquid, consumed, and essentially give you a spiritual vision or ceremonial vision. In conjunction, it would heighten your sense of magic. Well,
What if you find a
the giggles are perfection.
I also showed the
The previous like keeper low in managed. What happened to that?
I am currently residing and overseeing the investigations of the seance. Fortunately, we do not have her insights, but we do have her journals. And we're trying to understand what she was using it for.
We were thinking that rule was a thing.
The
Oh.
eons are in agreement with you on that.
And
Show them that map too.
we want to make sure that the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that is something they don't have access to.
Well, we think Mistress Lillian knew it was a thing. We think she was practicing visions in it. We think she was using that thinning as a way to get an understanding of how other thinnings might exist in Newfaire,
But that
as
is the
well
law.
as
That's the law.
Did you shatter that?
I broke it.
you did. Yeah, it's cracked, but it's not shattered.
Okay.
No, shatter it.
Where did you?
I found it.
May I have that, please?
I didn't want
I
it to
will
go.
get it to the eons and they can add it to their study.
I may have broken.
It looks, it happens.
I-
We will get it to the
I
eons.
didn't want it. I asked.
But if she was using the seance room as a way to manifest visions, we think at some point she manifested a vision that opened her up to threats. And we think someone within this organization that you are currently pursuing may have been secretly involved in what happened as well.
There is just one small thread that I kind of want to pull. After you mentioned the smuggling attempt 6 years ago on the docks. I read the news a few days ago that there was a that had passed away 2 days ago. That died 2 days ago. I was wondering if she was at all tied to those docks and if she had any feelings with our mates. Like
That name is new to me. I'll have to take those notes back and see if they're connected to anything. But
it was just a small thing. I just noticed she was an heiress to a shipping company. I wanted to know if there was any connection.
what was her name?
Nancy Cotton.
Natty? Nancy? Nancy.
Nancy Cochran.
Not the kind of thing.
I know that
Not a
the,
Cochrane. Not a Cochrane.
I know that the Cochran family is very influential in the Nine Irons, and they are still, to this day, considered a shipping background family. But other than that, her name has not come up in my notes, per se.
It was just, she passed away, and it just seemed kind of correlate with her passing.
Well, I haven't looked into it.
People died. She died. No.
Yeah, she could have been just old. But it's just a small thread. Sometimes you pull a thread and see
So
where.
what are your next plans with this information? What are your thoughts?
I say we go to the mountain.
We're going camping.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to go to the
We should get out of town for a while.
Can we just do this one sneaky this time? I know I fell down and kind of blew it the last time. I can make up for it.
When I got hit by a snake,
I got shot.
We got shot. We got found out. Everybody knows who we are.
Yeah. I cannot believe they had dangling wires.
I think we need a new. I think we need a safe house because I think we're hot right now.
I think we should just go camping.
I have an estate.
Yeah, but you got
No, you got made. You used your
I
own
have something
name.
for you.
You couldn't keep it in your trap shut on your own name, and now they know who you are.
Yes, that would be very unfortunate. Unfortunately, you are very recognizable, many mechanics. So,
I have a secret estate.
is it located near the bridal board?
Indeed.
Let's go camping on her estate.
However, I would like to offer
I
up
just
some
wanna go
assistance
camping.
on this. Perhaps the information I heard earlier, take one of our trucks instead of a car.
Do you have a van?
Yes, we have what's referred to as a wagon of sorts, a kind of long version of the car, but with a lot more cargo capacity in the back.
Do you need a horse?
I know those. They're full of candy.
Are you sure you don't want to date?
thought
I'm
it
getting
was-
intrigued by you.
I thought it was called a paddy wagon, not a candy wagon.
I don't know the candy. Every time I find those kind of things, there's got people.
Or
Always
people
trying to
eat
lure you in.
Now you're not done. You get the candy first before you get in.
I'm praying just for that joke.
She always gets the candy before she gets in the van.
See,
She's no sucker.
But she likes it.
we actually have the advantage in that the estate is
You
not,
like mine tonight?
the estate is not connected to my name, and that was my
You guys in the van are getting swept down.
Well, if you're comfortable using it for the purpose of staging your investigation, I'm assuming you're going to be seeking the excavation site then?
Are you sure that you are quite holding yourself?
No,
Yes,
as I
ma'am.
said,
You look like
it
you
was
have a
not
question on
connected.
your brow.
The estate was not connected to me.
Oh,
It was connected to my.
I have been giving thoughts. Do you know how to use this? He goes over to a bag and he pulls out a light machine gun.
No,
So maybe we can
so
find
the
a
secret.
Yeah.
So maybe we can find-
That's more Roscoe.
I'm not
Roscoe.
You
He
just
like pulls out this
say that. You
gun
have
that's
to-
like quite long with a magazine hanging out the side.
It's not a palatial
We refer to these as
estate.
LMGs. They're not as
Love
accurate as a
shot,
pistol, but
yeah.
instead of 6 rounds, they fire 24. Be interesting.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
hands,
Thank you.
he hands it up to you with 2 extra clips
What does that
and a clip already inside.
All right.
Like,
Light machine gun.
I said that out loud while also calling it LMG.
All I heard was they call me Ellen.
Which was after
The world is getting darker by the
Yeah,
hour.
but you sung that.
Pretty dim.
Anything else you might require for the trip?
We're going camping. We
How about
need
some
camping.
hand grenades since we got a light machine?
Is there any way?
Unfortunately, the only explosives I have access to is a new invention called dynamite.
Oh,
Sleeping
We
powder.
need
That'll
some
work.
dynamite.
We need sleeping powder.
Okay,
Uh,
so we
I
need
believe
more.
you have the alchemical quantities for that.
I might need to stock up on my resources. I miscalculated some of the dosage in the
I
exploded.
will have a resupply
Yeah.
sent to you before you guys leave
Dig.
for the mountains.
What about if it's an excavation site? Do we need spelunking kit?
You might require a climbing
We
kit.
got
I
what's
can
above.
certainly have that thrown into some rucksacks and sent towards the house before you leave. I'll have them on the
Deep.
truck when the truck is
Dog.
Oh, please don't make me fun.
that. I
Well,
like that name.
can
That.
you include a pulley just so
Okay.
we can lower her down?
Okay.
And
G.
I suppose we can give you enough equipment to accommodate that. Sure.
She doesn't want to
Jane.
climb.
it's not because I don't want to
J.
climb. It's just you don't want to see me try.
L.
I mean, going
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
you're just repelling.
Or you
only
could just
going
fall
up.
down.
Like, exactly.
Let's see.
Repellent.
If it's a proper excavation site, you may already have access to it down below. But I think general climbing gear, rope, and pulleys should be provided for your tent.
I mean, repelling, it's like falling with style. So you'll be fine.
You're right. I'm quite stylish.
Mhm.
Occult supply.
Absolutely. General supply.
Oh,
Including,
dude.
I will have all the summarized
Straight
information
over my hand.
bundled and left here for you to
Thanks,
re-examine.
Remember, vampire.
I'm going to be scandalous. I need to bring showers.
Didn't do in my mouth.
So wear pants. That won't draw
Yeah.
any suspicion whatsoever.
Madam, I'm doing it.
Actually,
God dispense it.
considering Daughter
That's the beginning
Hargrove
of one of my
often
favorite words.
uses it, mine actually fit in quite nicely.
I
Is
wear
that
trousers
Dory?
all the time. How is this
Is
scandalous?
that fish?
Because
Fish.
I am a lady.
I have girl parts too.
But
Ah,
they're
but
not
the thing-
lengthy. They're
What are
poor.
you doing?
You never know. I could be wealthy.
It takes more to relate than simple general reading.
Are you saying I wasn't born?
What'd you get me
I may
into?
not
See
remember
what I
it.
do with it?
I'm just saying, you are a lovely woman.
I think we can assume that certain people involved, Roscoe, are trying to make sure that something's not actually discovered. This may actually be linked to what happened to one of your former partners. Your former partner was involved in the investigation of the shipping accident that took place some 6 years ago. He then got a little too close, I think, to somebody.
Was he working for you?
He, not directly, no.
Did you get too close to a prostitute and get like syphilis or
I
something?
think I need to do that.
Not sure. It doesn't sound like I want to get it, but
It's all right. I've been educating her on things that come up. She doesn't-
oh.
I've given her texts and I've been reading them too. She doesn't want to.
Well, okay, but it's like-
No.
I am not interacting with these fools.
She made me stop using the last book. She made me stop.
That's
I had to read it to her so she understood the importance of the information inside it.
what we can
There's a lot of
buy
medical
more toilet
terminology.
paper.
Tell
if
me
that's
you did
required.
not let her access to our text.
That's my personal life.
Well,
I was trying to.
It was only like 5 pages before she caught me. So
Well,
you're not missing much.
as in depth as this
Ah.
conversation is, I will make sure that the van is sent over with the necessary supplies. It can hold up to 8 people, including supplies. However, it is one of the more newfangled machines. It uses a substance known as gasoline. Not a lot of
Flammable substance.
Yes, not a lot of stops between here and the bridal board. So I will include enough fuel for you to take the van all the way there, and then should have enough to make it back. But be mindful, it is explosive and flammable as well.
No
By chance.
lighters in the.
No,
No
big
open
no.
flames. Yes.
No access to you.
guys.
I have
We can
perfect
use
control.
2 guys.
Fortunately, I'm not connected with any resources in the mountain, the bridal board. I apologize.
You have a map?
I have a map of the general area, but nothing specific.
That's more than we have now.
So because he hands you a Bridleborn map, Bridleborn
Where's Bridleborn?
Bridleborn map, you get an extra D6 on your surveys as a group whenever you refer to the map while looking.
Iggy writes that down because it's probably you can be direct.
So as Brockmeyer takes his leave, about 2 hours later, very early in the afternoon, you hear the delivery of the van, and you guys now have all your supplies and equipment. It's now
While we were waiting, I was packing my
saber and all your equipment.
my go bag.
I'm gonna make a joke and be like, why is he I'm gonna close the door? Like, you know you love me.
Everybody have what you need?
We're all dressed appropriately.
Yeah, I'm ready.
My head
I have my machine gun. That was perfect. And it's
Pull up
got
in front of this, in front of that captain's house.
My hand isn't working.
I have brought my
Candy gram for Mongo.
anti-beat stuff.
Tight. Anyways, good luck.
I'm looking
And
you
time
love you
magic.
love.
She's gonna go get you. She's gonna get you something.
It's funny, he's now at the temper tantrum age.
She's gonna get you
He's
something to
getting
drink.
much more animated when
Yeah,
he
you're
does
fine.
that.
Oh, yes.
You're
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
it is. And it's like it's
It's the worst everything that could happen. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Oh no! All right, there you go.
So with that, you guys are in possession of the van now, and you're making your way out towards the bridal board. It's a long drive. You should get there roughly maybe a couple hours after dark. As you begin to follow the map and take the long drive up to the northern outskirts of Newfaire, you eventually find yourself going into the rolling hills at the outskirts of the bridal board. By the time it's dark, you're an hour away from your valley estate. It sits in kind of what's called the Grege Valley, an hour just south of the bridal board. Do you guys want to stop up there for the night or drive straight through to the mountainside?
Oh,
Stop.
Okay. So you guys pull into the estate driveway. You have one person on staff that keeps everything kind of controlled and organized.
I want to read.
His name is Matthew. He's standing patiently on the stairs watching the van pull up. As you all kind of pour out, Matthew looks to see Lady Mechanicus. Lady Mechanicus, it's good to see you. Rooms for all, or are you planning on staying?
Temporary.
Shall I activate the kitchen, or?
Yes, please. Especially tea.
Of course, always tea is properly done. Yes, ma'am. Anything else I can immediately do for you or your friends?
We need a fire lit in the library.
Very well, I can have that accommodated for, but it's quite warm in there. It's summertime. What those are? They sound fascinating. May I have some? Well, this isn't really camping. This is an estate. Anyway, I shall make the common room comfortable for you and your friends.
Thank you.
This is how ladies count.
I appreciate all that you have done. And I also appreciate your discretion on that we were never here.
Who are you again? And he kind of just walks up the stairs. You can hear him kind of busily do things as you guys walk up. This is not palatial. This is very much like a hunting lodge for the most part. It's a 2-story structure. The second story being all the shared 12 bedrooms. The downstairs containing your library and your study and your writing room.
Yeah, that's what I was
and your
thinking.
painting
It's
room.
got 12
You know,
bedrooms. Wow.
It's your small hunting lodge that you use. Normally, you don't come out here for the summer. But by the time early evening rolls around, you guys have quite the meal prepared for you on the table. Matthew retires for the evening, making sure that he's got any activity. Well, good evening, all of you. And he just kind of disappears up into the second floor of the lodge.
How much do you charge?
They're like
He was the one who told me.
Yeah, there's taxidermy everywhere. Safari results and hunting, and from bears to elk to deer to wolves to all manner of things. Yeah.
Guys, is it just me or are there eyes following you?
I don't know. Maybe you should happen to extra plane your sense to keep the.
That particular one was quite an interesting shot.
Are you sure it's dead?
Yes.
I'm gonna punch it.
Is it
Give me
the
a
buffalo?
control.
I believe you need to
Oh,
go
give me a
to
strike.
bed.
Please tell me you punched the buffalo.
I'm just
Big
gonna
buffalo.
poke it in the nose. I don't want to hurt my hand or the spectrum.
It's plastic. Or
It's gonna dip in
it's like it's ceramic. It's like a replica. While the trophy head itself feels real and preserved, the eyes, the nose seem to be recreations.
Do you know how to
I'm sure you're going to tell me now because you haven't said that. That's not really a question. It's more. No, I don't know how they really do taxidermy.
Do you have a story of remembering that?
Everything else is a replica.
I only poked it. I didn't punch it.
You broke its eye.
I did not break its eye. I poked its nose. There's no way I could potentially break its eye by poking its nose.
Unless the
Poke its nose, the eyeball pop out.
That's there already. But now its eye can't follow me.
Guys, that really picked the eye up off
Like arcade eye. So is there anything you guys want to do before you settle in for your rest, and then
I think we need to lay out the equipment, make an assessment of everything.
so you currently have all the necessary climbing gear. Each of you have enough rope for potential spelunking or climbing, kittens and climbing spikes and hand spikes to help with the climbing. You obviously have whatever personal possessions you brought. There are some common camping gear that's provided as well in case you need it.
I want to look around the lot.
That's easy enough for you to find.
So that we can maybe like.
You actually find a set of hunting spyglasses.
That had
That's what you
survival
find.
gear, so
Scope for,
No, they're binoculars, but they're particularly designed for hunting purposes. So
And
they have a little bit of extra, range on them.
I'm going to grab my hunting.
Okay, grab your hunting rifle. Your single shot rifle that's designed to take down big game, that one.
And the ammo.
Say a box
that,
of 12
that will,
rounds.
I mean, if we get caught, we can do camping and that's, hunting. We're hunting.
Very true.
Yeah, no, sure,
So we
Mommy,
have,
we don't have to be
I don't know how
hunting.
to get that
Just
going.
be protecting ourselves from the gnomes.
Let me check what are the arcane texts, like in the book that I
That's
had.
why we need protection.
Is there any one I can like practice trying to write out and see if it does anything like?
What's your character type again?
Mine is weird. I mean, I would do
But
something.
you also did you want to practice it with the watch?
Cool, because there was the watch, but it was that you said that one was like a bleed in magic, so I didn't know if that would work with arcane. So what I was originally thinking was I wanted to test out to see if I can write it just perfectly, so nothing goes terribly wrong. I want to see if I can write a arcane on my knuckles, like the brass knuckles.
Right.
daughter.
Give me a. Give me a while you examine the writings in your book and the writings on the pocket.
High risk? Or
I'd say medium risk for now because you're copying, not invoking.
Can I give her one?
If you're involved with helping her, sure. Yes. You can take an extra dice and drive.
that's okay. Still drive is the highest for 5.
What?
I got 2.
So you both get it back. As you begin to investigate the writing, you copy the writing over onto your brass knuckle. The writing on the watch fades away, and then it actually reappears now on the brass knuckles. You go ahead and give me focus for starters. You inspect the results of what you did.
I'm helping.
I'm gonna help with that too.
Okay, so you two can give her 2 extra dice.
One body or
Yes, there's a 6. We'll go with
one
that.
body or one
You have now realized that you
But I think
created what's called a ward, a protective glyph.
Okay.
So
Correct. So your brass knuckles have the ability to soak a bleed.
Nice.
Can we use dynamite?
There is a small iron box with 3 sticks of dynamite, a small tin box with 3 fuses, and then another box with a plunger and a 100-foot power cord to the fuses.
Okay.
Smaller. It's one of those micro plungers, as opposed to like the Acme.
It was like the one that goes like this.
It doesn't twist, so push. It's
still
not
pushes.
that fancy. It's just an electrical surge that it creates.
Are you suggesting Acme dynamite with a throw off.
It's so verbal.
That's why.
He's also very curious. I like how he points to things and asks me
Oh,
how.
yeah. I
Like,
love
Sure,
it.
Bubba. You're gonna hit yourself in the head with that thing.
So, anything else
Thank
anyone
you.
wants to do before
switching the old batteries to the
new bleed detectors, making sure they're recharged for the day?
The door
Okay.
a little.
I do declare. I do declare. I do declare.
I'm going to go over my research over and over again. See if
You
there's
can
any-
give me another focus as you spend the evening just going over the research to see if you find anything.
You know what? Go for 10 extra one.
I'm gonna go soak in my tub.
Okay.
I'm going.
That's a 6, 2 6s. One's on the
That's
gilded
an extreme success because you got 2 6s.
and one's on the gilded. So what is that?
Right. Now that you have all of Brockmeyer's information, you have the collective workings of what the team has come across, including all the suspicions. Things are starting to fall into place for you. Bridalborn feels like an old ceremonial site that probably was discovered by the Bradley Construction Company. Somebody within the Bradley Construction Company may have said something to the curator of the Antiquities Museum and then began to establish a smuggling ring. That as they were finding things, they were being smuggled out and illicitly smuggled over to the Antiquities Museum. That explains the Bradley connection. Because they were there first, even before the daughter of the Hargroves began her research there. You get the feeling that the daughter's research there put a stymie on their smuggling business. And it's quite possible they might have planted a relic for her to find in hopes of getting her out of the way.
So it's not necessarily working together.
It doesn't feel like it because it doesn't make sense. It feels like she stumbled upon the site, made it difficult for them to smuggle the goods like they were doing before. However, you do find a connection between the shipping company and Bradley Construction Company. They're also the ones that commissioned the shipment for the Kaligo coin to be smuggled into the Antiquities Museum. The one that I have the notes for.
Okay.
So you managed to connect that. All of this seems to have started as a smuggling attempt at ancient relics to make a lot of money. You get the feeling somehow a particular item, probably either the box or the statue that was found at the haunted location, somehow convinced the Hargroves and some other select members of the community that something more interesting was at play here. This feels like a group of people, of wealthy individuals who are at play, discovered something dangerous, and now they're trying to understand what it is and possibly invoke whatever power it might contain. And based on what Brockmeyer told you, if the lathe, the astral lathe, might be located at the excavation site, it's possible they haven't found it yet because their first attempt at opening the box was with the Kaligo coin. Those two were not meant to ever come in contact. Therefore, when the bleed erupted around her due to the infection of both the box and the coin, it drove her quite mad. A madness she hasn't recovered yet. You find a section of notes where Brockmeyer is very specific about her permanency in madness and never to recover.
And yet she is walking about.
No, not her.
That's not
The one that performed the
Right.
ceremony in the Antiquities location. You also find some notes that Brockmeyer made about the condition of the construction workers. They feel that there is a connection of Angus's activities of lobotomization of patients, and that they were used as first attempts at creating vessels, things that could live inside of other people in an attempt to maybe solidify the ceremony's purpose. So while the family seemed to have gotten involved later on, it feels like the original intent was smuggling that wealth based on what they were smuggling. Roll double sixes, you get a lot of info.
I like it. I just need to write it all down before.
Oh, there's that.
And she forgot. All right.
not me, not Carol.
Yeah, that's way
know,
more
right?
Callista than Carolyn.
And what did you say?
Carolyn will usually just write mumble jumbo. Yeah, she'll put a bunch of words she thought she heard.
Hmm.
Like you're more like the telephone game. You're just short-term memory loss for the most part.
I'm actually better at remembering things than I don't right now.
It's a curse. I agree.
It's a curse and a gift.
Anybody else want to work on anything before the morning comes?
I'm bored. I want to
Give me another strike.
roll like a pony across my
Okay. You can give me control. You do that throughout the evening.
I'm gonna take a few empty bottles out in the backyard.
Practice with the machine gun.
Practice the machine gun.
Give me a control as you do that.
Don't destroy my life.
Don't destroy my topiaries.
I just rolled a 1.
A what?
Oh.
So, as all of you are off doing different things, you hear a single loud snap of a bullet. Just this crack. And then you hear someone howling in pain. As all of you go running out into the backyard, you see Roscoe on the ground holding 2 of his fingers in his other hand. You see a pinky and his other finger are stumps. As you take a bite.
Medkit.
Medkit.
It's actually gonna be a scar because all my bodies are used up.
The medkit. Stop the scar.
So, no. So, in that case, you guys come out to an unconscious Roscoe. He's lying on the ground. The light machine gun is in pieces and just ruined. You could see
You broke the gun.
on his non-gun hand, because it was near the magazine when it got jammed and then exploded. It's a stump.
Do I get 1D?
You lost a.
Do I get like 1 dice extra now when I use it though in the game? Now?
Well, no, you just broke it.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
You can see his hand lying off to the side on the lawn, stumped with the exposed bone and meat of
I can put
his
that
severed
in the
hand.
freezer.
So, with that in mind, you've taken the scar. So, the physical attribute is you
Okay.
lost your left hand.
All right.
So, what would you like to swap?
I'm gonna tear off a bit of my skirt to staunch the bleeding. Gigi,
Okay.
go get a file. We're going to have to burn that.
Cauterize it.
No,
Stop the file.
hold.
Find them out.
Hold. I have a staff.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
So, okay, so he's currently unconscious. So, you could probably perform this.
We're totally performing it well.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm going to say it's not as advanced as the one that you've taken years to perfect.
Can it be the pretty one with like the long nails? It's like it's the one who takes the
I was going to say it's going to be more like a contemporary book.
This is my hunting hand.
Yeah, it's just a simple, like fishhook clasp with a little bit of wires and leverages that allow you to open and close it to be able to hold things
It's
temporarily.
Fair.
My spare.
But
I thought it was the
you
pretty
do
hand.
have a patent on the concoction that you share with Elizabeth.
Make it use.
Yeah, to like cause the cauterization of the wound, and then it's almost like a kind of skin-like glue that allows it to mend directly into the medical portion
It actually
of the hand. Yeah. So you have your scar. What'd you swap?
Oh, okay. I didn't know what I needed. I was waiting for you to.
No, it's fine. So the way the scar system works.
I know. So I'm gonna take. Forget shooting. I'm not gonna shoot anymore. So I'm gonna take. I'm gonna have nothing in control.
What do you currently have in control?
One.
One.
Just one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get
Is it
rid.
gilded?
No.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get rid of that. So it's just gonna be 3 regular circles. So
Thanks. Yeah. Disadvantage.
yeah, disadvantage basically. And I'm going to. What did you put on my hand?
I gave you a prosthetic hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a simple prosthetic with a single
Um,
hook that's got wires to control.
I think I do
opening and
better punching because I broke that guy's nose.
closing. Okay, so you want to?
So I'm gonna put one onto my strike.
Well, it's a swap. I mean, it increases.
No, that's what it says. It's taking it from one.
I'm taking it one and putting it to another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. It's the AP that gets moved, not necessarily the
Yeah.
swap of the skill.
So
Sorry.
basically, his punch has a little bit of a stabbing.
So I basically can't. I'm just gonna be a disadvantage on my control, and then I'll get 2 dice on my strike instead of 1.
Gotcha.
I wake him up and go, hey,
You know, I did really good with the pistol that one time. Now I'm like, I don't want to mess around with
Yeah.
because they explode.
Yeah, because they explode. Yeah,
But maybe with my new hand, it'll be a good punching hand.
that's fair.
Right.
Hi, buddy. With the other hand.
So, anything did you want to do? Because you're doing your finesse practice. She was out practicing with her saber. You
I have
guys
my
were
stuff.
helping do some
So
studying. You had
something?
just learned how to absorb bleed into your black brass knuckles when you heard what went on. So by midnight, you guys have him comfortable in his room. He's recovering from the fusion of the new kind of prosthetic hand. You can see the scar tissue beginning to build from the concoction that you used to kind of fuse to it as well.
That's your pet. It could be your hand.
Can
Can we
you mean thing you
You
can
know,
I put it.
I'll take it next to the bleed so it becomes sapient. Like it goes over and like brings the cup and like brings it
Call
out.
him handy.
I have a thing here.
Oh, it'd be
I-
the ultimate
I make a
stranger.
small mundane invention.
What would you like to try to make? Well, experimenting with organic animation with mechanical infusements is not a small mundane.
I'm not saying it would be. I wouldn't say it. I would just say it'd be like a.
Pull out the cake.
Preservation of the organics makes it too complex.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
That's
Stuff
fine.
I mean, you could put it in a pickle jar for now and preserve it,
Yeah.
in like a big jar of
We have all the
alcohol.
taxidermy
Nice.
equipment.
Yeah, I mean,
Bourbon.
you do have the taxidermy. You don't have a freezer.
Bourbon.
You do have the taxidermy supplies that can help preserve
It's
it.
a hunting lodge. Of course there's taxidermy supplies.
I'll find a scrap of parchment and pen and pencil, or
Mhm.
and write a quick. Get well soon, Roscoe. Yes.
It's like nice and like set like right on the bedside table for when he wakes up.
Right underneath it.
I can't believe you rolled a 1.
Well, I only have one
Awesome.
die in it,
I
and all of my drive is missing on that. So I think
Oh,
it's
it
gonna
is.
drive.
Was that
Hey, but-
one a gilded by
She could have
chance?
used a
No, there's no gilded on that.
I mean, you could have used the resistance, but how many do you have left?
Oh, I got all my resistance. No, I got all of my resistance.
Remember.
That's okay.
Oh, what you re-roll?
Yeah, but he wants
Nah, it's all right.
He wants
Chicks
to
take
build his
scars.
character.
I was hoping to get one last time.
Love is Dick Scott.
Oh, you're in the background.
So you guys wake up to the smell of coffee, tea, breakfast. You wake up very, very physically sore and a little dodgy. Your left hand itches like crazy. And you bring your right hand over to kind of like itch, and you feel the metal prosthetic and then the fused scar tissue. And then on your bedside table, you see a folded up note with your name on it, with a jar with your hand floating in it, sealed tightly. And it's from.
Oh, I didn't know we gave the hint. I thought I
I'll take a brain.
I would like to take this moment to be like the
Okay.
person.
That was pretty funny.
There we go.
I'm going to have that doctor moment where I'm actually there. It's like, it
Fuck
looks
me,
like
did they
the
even
patient-
leave me any booze?
That's what your hand is.
That's what your hand is floating.
I pour some and drink.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think they're gonna leave me.
It tastes like a night of bad decisions.
Okay.
Morning.
Fucking machine gun. Fucking asshole. I'm gonna punch that guy right in the face when I see him.
So as you come down last to join everybody at the breakfast table, you guys are now planning your day. What's the plan?
What the fuck is this?
I wanted to be in the room when he woke up and like, oh, look like the patient is awake.
That's too creepy.
Oh, if you were there. You mechanical? You Alexandra?
We were ready.
Gandalf,
You
it's you.
stupid.
Except it was in color. Okay. You little flying monkey. Everyone was there.
Sebastian's like, oh, I was.
You were there.
Oh, hey, New Age Geek. Thanks for the raid. Appreciate it.
So,
Thanks for the raid. I only have one hand.
Yeah, and a hook.
Rockstar.
Not whose fault is that? Drink your breakfast beer.
Drink your breakfast beer.
I am beer. I'm like whiskey in my coffee.
Yeah. It's like Matthew comes over and like doesn't even, you don't have to pour it. He just sees your hand. Oh, been there, my friend. You hear him tap his leg and you hear the hollow metal sound of a war injury and kind of pours some whiskey in your coffee for you.
Thanks. I like
it. Luckily, it happened to you. Yeah. You could have died out in the field. But, yeah.
by the way, Matthew is also one of mine.
I dabble. Jeez. But funding allows me the opportunity to dabble. This particular hand was one of my first attempts at a simple prosthetic. It's good enough to hold things, balance things.
Is it like?
but
Is it like a? It's not like.
It's like
It's
one of
not
those,
like having a real hand.
no. It's like one of those hooks that have.
Is that one of the
wires.
things where I have to go like this and they go
Yeah.
and it holds it?
Yeah.
Jesus. So I have to learn how to do it. So I'm gonna
No,
knock
it's
over
like-
my booze. Damn it! I'm left-handed.
But Matthew, I might need you to make
Oh, yes. Actually, I
Can you modify?
I have something we could add to it. And he kind of immediately disappears, but comes back with a small toolbox.
Is that a ring?
And he sits down next to you and he pulls out a weird kind of like caliper device. And he starts working on the elbow and the forearm kind of infusements that have always been kind of stiff and not very easily used. And he begins to make corrections and adjustments to it. So for this session, you have a extra D6 that you can use within your nerve ability. So you can have an extra D6 for move, strike, or control, and use it once.
Can you fix this? No, the broken bits of the machine. Machine gun.
No,
Things completely dead.
yeah, he takes it from you and
Just falls apart more, little ears.
yeah, I'll deal with this. It's quite fine.
But
Cut
I
it.
have a piece of it.
Do you want
No.
to make a necklace out of it?
Just one
No.
No.
Would you like the piece covered with his blood or his skin?
What? What are you guys talking about?
He just kind of like pulls it into a small wooden box. Yeah,
What?
I'll take care of these spare parts.
Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate everything.
Of course, please
They
be
took
safe
my
today.
crystal ball. I need a new trinket.
Here's a spring I took. It still makes a point.
Got a little partial fingertip looking up this way. Giving yourself a favor.
Yeah,
So-
and I'm practically familiar with the grounds around this area. Because just where we need to go is just outside of my direction. I've only been hunting.
Oh, that was a reach.
What happened?
I've only been hunting them once.
Oops.
Oh
I love
no!
the drama. Oh, I just
Drama
laughed.
for your mama.
That was the sound of the
Drama
beast
for
in
your
the
mama.
Yeah. Cried like a baby as it loses control.
Do it.
You know,
Tommy's
that's
gonna
the
do
sound
that game
for a
for
creature.
you.
Yeah, that's right. So what are you doing there, Lady
So
Mechanic?
we're going to cruise over the map and familiarize ourselves with.
Because you have the map, you have an extra D6. So someone feel free to give me a survey as you examine the map.
Oh wait, no.
Uh,
It's Spencer.
I have two
I
surveys.
have a deal, but
I don't have a guild on.
I don't have guilty. You're
I have
guilty.
a deal.
He's in.
But how many? Like,
It's like,
Do it.
well, you get the one extra for the week.
No, gilded can be one of the dice. It's not
No.
a dice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I have
So,
one. and I
Let's
also
have her do
No.
it.
Using
So-
the map too.
No, I have a guild, but I have one.
Right, which means you have
What's that
one
one,
gilded
Dan?
dice.
But
And then we
so
have
we get
to
an
go
extra
extra
one
from that.
because of.
Oh yeah, you have the extra one for the
But
map.
she'll get
Yes.
3.
But I won't. But it won't be gilded. But I can give him. I can give him advice.
That's true. And if it's
If I
it's
take
not
it-
gilded, but if he gets a gilded and he takes the gilded roll, you get yours back and he gets his back.
Yeah, mine is not.
So-
You're gonna have to give me a drive as well.
So that technically, I lose the hand weapon then.
Okay, the fortune
Okay.
fire says
I lose the hand weapon because the
Fail.
machine gun blew up.
But no, if if you take the gilded result, everybody who gave, you get both get back. If you that was
But
the
so
side.
for example, if he rolls
See
a
the arrows?
2,
Follow the arrows?
it's considered a failure.
Mhm.
But let's say the 2 isn't gilded, and because of forged in fire, you get it back.
even if we fail.
But if he gets a 6 in gilded, you get it back.
Boom.
If he gets a 4 or a 5, it's a mixed success, not a failure, and it's not the gilded one he takes. You don't get anything back. You get the mixed results.
All right.
Yay.
I
That's
thought
it.
she gave
I
you
got a
one.
6,
Nice.
but it's not a
Can we do
gilded.
Pete?
Are you taking the 6 then instead of gilded?
I'm taking
Okay.
a 6 instead of a 3.
Okay, so no one gets the drive back.
Okay.
But
Follow the line.
you find on the map about an hour from here,
Follow it around.
um,
Follow it around.
by car, you find some trails that are noted on the southern portion of the Bridalborn Mountains. They are lookout trails designed for people who are touristing or coming for picnics. And they seem to be within a 20-minute location of something called abandoned ruins on the map itself. You get the feeling that this might be a location that they're excavating. It's not being purposely pointed out. It seems very subtle, but you don't really see anything else within reason that would be worth the map. So I'll say you guys have a direct idea of where the location is now.
And there's a lookout location around it. So
Yeah,
like
there's
one
trails
we
that you
could-
can take up towards it. There's trails that go up to about 1,000 feet within the mountains to look down into the valleys, especially the Vage, or the Sage Valley that your entire location is located in, or the Greege, sorry, down into the Greege Valley. So it appears that this is almost like kind of like a touristy spot or a picnic spot. This is located.
Okay, so we need a plan here. No.
I just thought, I do have my, we do keep horses
Good
in
job.
the back that we can, one, not make a trail.
I'm all done.
We could at least bring two as
That one.
cactus.
With that being said, we are going to be investigating. They probably wouldn't be happy that we are there.
You're assuming that people are there.
Yeah.
Well,
Construction site.
Maybe.
I don't know if we want to drive all the way there. But we might need to make a escape.
How far away is it?
About an hour by drive.
Might want to drive nearby there so that we have the van.
We have a map, right? Is there anything nearby we can park the car or somewhere?
There's a car park. There's a place to have picnics. There's trails and lookout points. And above all of that touristy information, it's just a simple note of a location called Ruins.
I think
We'll,
we go
we'll
there.
find a
bring
closest
like
camping
a,
spot and go, and then we'll hike in from
Yeah,
there.
we'll bring a picnic basket and make it look like we're
Okay,
out
that
there.
sounds good.
Your man
Bird watching or whatever.
We're going to pack picnic.
Teddy had a
While
badge or
driving.
something.
Go, Matthew, make sure that you have everything you need then for the ruse. If it is a ruse, I mean, he's already packing food for you to take anyway. So.
Well, or if somebody runs into us, we can just say that we're out to go picnicking. We don't have to reveal our true intentions.
That's just so big deal. So you guys make the morning drive out to the car park?
Yeah.
It's like they're weird.
Yeah.
Go figure. Never would have known.
I'm a doctor.
I am weird.
Like, can we do it like early, so it's like
Yes.
still dark when we get there, like first light or something?
Sure, we'll say that by the time you get there, it's first light.
Okay, so then that masks us, our car moving.
Yeah, and it's not modern in the sense of a modern spot. It's basically a dirt lot
Yeah.
with some wooden picnic benches
Right.
for people to come and have a meal and then
There's
go
no-
trail hiking. Basically, it's the only
Right.
kind of like landmarks that are here. I will say this much though: upon arrival, everybody is free to give me a survey. Low risk.
We're surveying the area, not
Four,
by map.
5.
Not map, right?
That was a map. 3.
It's five?
3, 5.
Five.
5. Pretty good as a group. There's a couple things that you notice, although you're kind of distracted with the itchiness of your hands, and you'd be the only one not really to notice this. The rest of you notice faded wooden signs at certain landmark points around the immediate area. You arrive at the point of the sun just first coming up. Parts of the this unique vehicle that we're referring to today, on the dirt lot, you begin to kind of unpack and get things ready for the day. The placards and faded wooden signs that you're seeing look old. Some of them look vandalized or knocked over. This entire area is built on the Inequala ancestral lands. And these old wooden landmarks were posted by the university as ways of promoting the ancestral lands and the learning opportunity for those that would come out here, which gives you the indicator that the ruin might be an old Inequalan ruin. And you can see the many different hiking trails that go off in different directions. And based on your map and what you saw earlier, you can see the main hiking trail that leads up towards a midpoint of a lower edge of the mountain range that you believe the ruins to be located in. Maybe about a 15, 20-minute hike from my car. Nothing out of the ordinary other than what looks to be like food left behind by someone who picnicked here, or just kind of normal touristy traffic. Not a sign of any construction work or vehicles
If you
or
have time to
anything.
observe a location,
I
you
was
can
little, my
spend
father
one
used to take
cunning
me out to these woods
to ask.
to go hunting. I didn't like it. The hunting was all great, but the
Cunning try?
camping, not so much.
Okay.
I hope we
That
find
means
what
one
we
cunning.
I think it's
Don't
worth,
like to poop in a hole.
Ask
I think it's worth a little extra time to maybe hike up higher than where we think the ruins are at, so that we can kind of look down on them.
And make sure we bring up an open and do a thorough scope of it.
I'm going to use, when we get up to see it, I'm going to use my scout. It says if you have time to observe a location, you can spend one cunning to ask a question. What do I notice that others do not see?
Okay.
What
I
is
love
in
it.
this place that might be used to us? That path should be followed.
So you pack up your climbing gear, I'm assuming. There's enough climbing gear for each of you. And you take whatever equipment that you already had on your personal possession.
Can't be clear.
My rifle with the
That
scope.
would require a lot more of a burden.
We have that in the car.
Okay. Or you could leave it at the site, make it look like you're getting ready to camp if you want to continue the reception.
I mean,
I'll
how
stay down
long will it
and
take to
I'll
set
start
up
putting
these
the
tents?
camp
We have to
equipment
set up tents.
You can give me a hide as you're creating the actually,
Old
no, I'm
tents
sorry.
like the
You
one I
can
use
give
in
me
the
a sway,
SCA, then it takes like
because you're creating the
Yeah,
illusion that you're
15
setting up
minutes to
against
set it
Okay, that actually is a good question.
low risk.
Yeah.
This is a very in between kind of time period. What can a tent do?
Both of them are 6,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Canvas.
Canvas?
like with a pole in the middle
Double
and stuff.
six.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like old mining canvas.
Double 6.
Nice.
So it's somewhere between the
I
nylon
had to
of
take the
day and
lower of the
canvas.
two.
Yeah.
No nylon is in there.
No,
Eighth
it's
grade.
like yeah. It's
No,
like
it's just the simple canvas miner tents that you would see in the 1800s up to the early 1900s. Just simple short walls, canvas walls, roof, with the pole on either
so it
end.
is like the SCA tents.
That's feel like
Well, just not like a here. They're actually just referred to as mining wall tents.
Pretty much like our tent.
Kind of. About the modernity. Sure.
Well, don't build up the walls sort of down.
It was actually efficient.
So you spend the rest of the time setting up the campsite as camping is going on. The rest of you head up the main hiking trail with your kit and head towards an elevated portion of the trail that would give you the ability to look down into where you believe the ruins to be. Roscoe, you hit a certain point of the walk where you can use that scout ability if you want to.
Okay, I will.
Okay. There's a couple things you notice. You notice lots of pack mule trails. Somebody has come back here with a huge amount of pack mules recently. They're not going towards the ruin, they're going away from it. So as you kind of lead everybody up to the top of the vantage point that allows you to look down to where the ruin site is, you can tell that somebody recently has dismantled all the construction equipment, all the scaffolding and everything they would use as a means of excavation. And now it's just like broken wooden boxes and pieces of trash and detritus kind of all strewn around the place.
I don't see anybody though.
You don't see, none of you see anybody. You don't see anybody that looks suspicious in any way. But the ruin site is a series of old stone stacked kind of foundations that are kind of collapsed in on themselves. The only thing that you guys all equally notice is at the very center of the site looks to be an old abandoned, old school well that was done with stacked stones, where they did leave behind some kind of A-frame lowering platform system with some ropes and pulleys, some coiled up rope nearby. And you see no other excavation point other than the access down into the well. The well is maybe about 10 feet around. It's a pretty good sized well.
Yeah, it looks like they picked up camp and moved out by donkey.
And you get the feeling they did that with the intent of no one seeing them kind of come in and do that.
So, well,
Head on down and
Investigate.
Before we do that, I think some of us spiritually
so we don't
gifted
see
folks
anybody
perhaps we
moving
could a survey of the
Yeah.
area. Make sure we're not jumping headfirst into a pile of bleed that will infect our brains.
How long ago does it look like they went?
The previous morning.
This morning?
the previous one.
So should we ramp up the lead?
Perhaps a bleed, but not only for the distance, but invading. So we have a sense of.
Iggy's not there. Iggy's back at the campsite.
I'm making sure it's perfect.
We'll get Mama.
You have a great sense of things.
We'll get her.
I have a
Touch
blue
wires,
detector,
please.
too.
But I also have a gilded focus.
I'm trying to see if we can get a sense of what
It is mostly unusually quiet here because there's just not a whole lot of fauna nearby, or I'm sorry, flora. There's no trees.
We don't know
there's
what's
no
going on
bushes.
here.
It just feels quite barren.
We already know. It's a dangerous place.
we do. And from what I've been coming over the notes over the last night, and it definitely started off as just a smuggling thing, but these more upper echelon type, they are trying to do more. So
I mean, you can just tell them that everything that you learned in previous
everything I learned, yeah. Insert.
Insert madness.
Madness here.
When we can, we'll head down, and when I'm within probably about 20 feet, I'll use my focus because I have a
Oh,
gilded.
when
I have a gilded focus, but to inspect.
I take a scar, do I get all my body back?
Yes, you did.
I was thinking like to reveal something
You
that
took
nobody
4
else
stars, and all
Okay,
your
so-
stars get reset,
okay,
or your
so
body.
use my
Fine,
focus.
just- okay, just double check.
knows. She's trying to sense out the
Use
area.
my reveal and my gilded sense.
That has to do with more bleed stuff.
You can give me a sense, high risk.
What'd you do?
I'm going to give her one of my gilded my drives.
down there. You know
Yeah.
what's good. You better be in disguise.
And I get a gilded extend your senses.
Okay.
Got the dice back.
6 gilded.
Yay!
As you wander about the well, you lean in over it to get a feel for the interior of the well. There's something here. You feel the hairs on your neck stand up. There's, based on what Roscoe stated about them leaving in a hurry, something frightening. Yeah, and you can hear. There's a moment. Because you're pretty used to dabbling in weirdness in certain areas. You hear like. And then you hear something heavy dragging itself across gravel, exposed gravel on the interior of the well. As you look at the well, you know it's 10 feet around here, down below. It narrows and narrows and narrows. You can see a shallow point of water. What looks to be a small opening on the right side of the water. Something heavy shifts and a rock falls into the water. But unfortunately, the well's only big enough for one person at a time. Yeah.
Sounds like someone's stomach.
Fucking horror. It's the monster.
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Did I insert a well mimic?
I would like to read the body language of the well mimic.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
No,
Send me Gigi an extra lump.
she's making camp right now. She's very
You're
important.
like 3 lumps or 4.
She needs to make sure that I have a proper bed if I'm going to be camping.
One too many.
Yes, Gigi's doing a very
What was the name of that cartoon? Something Puma. That was a cartoon. Do you remember
Timon
that?
and Pumbaa.
No,
No.
not Lion.
Are you talking about Bugs Bunny with the?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He was like Pete Puma or something like that.
It's a bit like
Yeah.
Henry looked like a giant tooth.
No, this is a
No.
different one. I think he was a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Remember, it was a mountain lion,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "How
He's
many
always
lumps?
trying
How
to
many
hurt
lumps do you
you.
want?" And he goes, "Oh, 3 or 4." And he's all wham, 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 and they go. "Whoop, whoop, whoop."
I think you can one.
like a Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
That sounds like a Bugs Bunny.
And then he pounds the one down.
Yeah, but he had the character had a
The other
name.
one you're talking about is like, "You've got so many looks." He's doing
Oh,
this.
the
No, no,
No,
it's a monster.
it was the.
And it,
Oh,
And it-
yeah.
and it had Chuck Taylors on it.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah, it had Chuck Taylors on.
and he was usually in like the
And then
Transylvanian
he was
castle.
doing his hair and he put all the dynamite in his hair and then it blew all the hair off so you see a bald spot on the
And
top.
people wonder why we're completely mentally fucked up.
Everybody, here's the rail. We're over there.
So what are you guys doing? You have access to the well. It looks to have been hurriedly abandoned. Mechanicus, you fill them in on your what you're picking up on.
Can I use the scope of my rifle?
Yeah, you can give me a focus.
Let's see.
As
Perhaps
you
I should make
look
something.
down into the depth of the well. You can close.
We'll just throw down the explosive.
We'll say medium risk.
We'll throw down the
Another
dynamite.
6. Killed him.
You focus on the bottom of the well. Every now and then, when you hear movement, you can see the well water tremor, like impact tremors, but very slight and subtle. It's also pretty dark down there, and you don't see any sign of any kind of well, like anything put to support the well up. But you do see signs that they were excavating it. You can see abandoned equipment down there.
Like they released
Well, you said
something.
there's like a tripod over the top. of the
Yeah, there's
well.
like a pulley system set over it. So
Is there a
they're
rope and everything? Or is that all
coiled up
gone?
alongside.
Okay. All
And
right.
it's a rope chain. It's like an interlocking
I'm going to
rope chain.
do.
How about
I'm
you
good
just,
at hiding. Why don't I hide and sit down there?
just throw the dynamite down there and say it's a good day. Seal it up, open. Perfectly well done.
But it might be something that they cut from on purpose.
Yes, Professor.
I feel like
No, I don't see it like that.
You want
Something-
to repel down?
Actually, I think I can.
Can you make a sleep potion that we can throw down in the well?
I can make acidic, explosive, flammable.
We don't even know what's down there
sleep-inducing,
yet.
sticky,
You
or
want to try to
toxic.
repel down?
Yeah.
Sounds like
But,
Okay.
but we're gonna throw down a sleep potion first.
Why? So I can get knocked out?
No.
Unfortunately, if you do that, it's going to hit the water and probably not have any effect.
So,
Well, no, it will have an effect. It will alert whatever's down there that's
Yeah.
throwing stuff at it as well.
I hand you one so you can smash it in the face.
I can even spot. Take
Okay.
it with you. You wrap up some rope around your waist. You hang it off the pulley system. We'll say that because you guys are helping him lower himself down into the well, you do not need to make a move on this one because they're pretty
Okay.
much guiding you on the way down.
Okay.
It's a gradual V type form as you get
Yeah.
lower down deeper and deeper and deeper. You get to the midpoint and it straightens out just big enough for an average sized person to kind of squeeze through. As you get lower, you land in the water, but it's only ankle deep. It's not very deep water at all. You can see little trickles of seepage coming through, but as you kind of bend up under to kind of look at the tunnel that continues on, it's at enough of an angle that the water that's seeping and collecting at your ankles running into the tunnel. But it's pitch black. It's a thing beyond maybe about 10, 15 feet.
You find a skeleton, the giant
All right. I tug on the rope, which was the predetermined thing we were going to do if things get to go to come down.
You try to go. You do have your flashlight. You
I
have your
step
torch.
in so that someone won't fall and kill me,
Okay.
and then I'll just wait there for him.
Okay.
And then
Like right at the entrance.
yeah, and then
You
I'll
turn
look.
on your flashlight.
I'm going to turn on the flashlight. and
Okay.
see.
So who's going down second?
I'll go down with my rifle.
So it's between those two.
Oh,
They were both.
So we'll say
Okay.
Mechanicus goes second, and Alexandra is going to go third. As you're being lowered down, you hit the copper plunger metal plate button that connects the two diodes. And the old fashioned light player is out to cap down the tunnel. It gives you about an additional 40 feet of view. And that's where you notice the tunnel slightly declined, but you can hear the water. And then you listen, you hear it almost sounds like wind or breeze coalescing
it's
through the
falling.
tunnel.
Like the water's falling off of the pipe.
Not that strong.
Okay.
But give me a read as you stare down the tunnel.
Now, how many times can I use my role and my specialty? Because I got a scout. This is anytime I observe a location.
That's a good question.
Good
I'll
question.
have to look that up
I don't know.
under the quick start guide.
I'm not sure. So, anyway, you want me to do a read? You said?
Yeah, do a read. as you
Read,
look down
okay.
the tunnel.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Come on, baby. Okay, 4.
Yeah, that would actually fail.
Oh, it's messing all the time.
I'm not.
My specialty says I
Specialty.
can only use it once.
Yeah, so if it doesn't say otherwise, you probably use it all the time.
This is what I've been doing with my lab equipment.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, it doesn't really have
It
a,
doesn't say, it just says, well, like Street Smarts, it says, whenever you make a survey roll, you may spend any drive instead of using only intuition, right?
yeah.
And then the scout says, if you have time to observe a location, you can spend 1 cunning to ask a question.
Yeah. It doesn't say
Because it does
have
take
any-
up your,
I'm imagining because each of those abilities consume drive.
Yeah, it consumes
That's
drive.
the balance.
That's the
of it.
balance,
So it's
right?
not
Okay.
technically unlimited. It's
Yeah.
consuming your drive. So
And I have to take the lab equipment as gear in order to use.
correct.
Okay,
So
cool,
it's
cool.
more of a burden versus the utilization of a drive point. Therefore, it becomes a little bit more finite. What'd you get on your roll? 4. A 4. Mixed success on the low end. There's a silhouette of a body right at the edge of the light of what the flashlight can see. Can't make out much more detail than that. Just at that moment, you hear Mechanicus land in the water beside you, her boots splashing in the water. She enters the entrance alongside you to make room for Alexandria. She then
Yeah, I'd
lands
wait
in the
for
water.
everybody to
Yeah,
get
the
down.
3 of you are down there. Giggy, did you want to catch up with them at this point? Since you're already done setting up the campsite, or
I mean,
Okay.
but
eventually,
put 2
as are you going down? Or are you staying up top?
I am
No,
going to go down. Did we have an extra gun?
I mean, she brought her rifle. Did you bring your extra pistol as well? Technically, she has an extra pistol.
I would like to borrow you.
I'm already down. So you're down there.
Yeah. So you'll go down next. Okay. As you get ready to go down, you watch Giggy kind of comes up along the trail and now helps you down. For you, Giggy, I need you to make a move, medium risk, while the lower rope is being held steady to help you come down. It's a little bit more risky because there's no one up top helping you down as well. Steady.
oh, I was gonna just stay at the top. I like let anyone up.
Oh, okay, so
I'm
you
all
want
like,
to stay up above? Okay.
She's the go person this
All right.
time.
You stay up above, keeping an eye out for potential threats.
because the
or
fact that everybody had to be
Yeah.
pulled in and out, I'm all like,
So the rest of you are now standing collectively both in the bottom of the well and near the entrance. You watch as Roscoe flashes his light on a silhouette of a body about 30 feet into the tunnel. The bullets. What do you guys do? You head into the tunnel. So you kind of push your way through and start. You have Roscoe hold the flashlight as you get a bit closer. And as you get closer, go ahead and give you a focus. No, give me a survey.
Is in not spec-
Just like Mechanicus. He's now walking down the tunnel. Or you get close enough that the condition that it's in causes you a bleed. You've never seen trauma like this before, and you've seen some injuries in your life. The worker's head is split open in such a way that you could see something entered the front of its face and then barbed out the back of its head, causing the skull to split in at first and then out like a balloon, almost. You can see that it was recent, maybe within the last 24 hours. As you stand there in the tunnel, looking around, you hear it again. Coming from up ahead.
I'm
So you start creeping behind where she is.
How would I use the bleed detector?
The little metal dial at the top is pinging hard right.
Leather.
Sorry, not a bleed. Take a brain. My bad. I meant a brain. The trauma that decided it. And to stipulate, from this point on, everything is happening. And that's the other thing all of you know. It's awesome. Why? For some reason, you're not sure what is causing Mechanicus to respond to a noise. How do you hear the noise? Yeah, because you look over your shoulder, look at the others.
Please don't do that. Oh, wait. Attunement. There's something mechanical within this cave.
I would
The
like.
others don't.
I'd like to. I would like to pull out a couple of my simple solutions and from my lab kit and mix them together and create a sticky substance in case I need to stick something to a smooth.
You have a vial of like an industrial level chemical that if anything steps on it or touches it, it'll immediately adhere to them and whatever surface you apply it to. Okay. What do you want to do, Nero? Oh, Kiki, go ahead. You're still up at the top of the well.
Yeah, no, just a weird question. If you use a item or object from the previous ones, can they still be in the newest one?
Sure.
Okay, that's what's curious about.
No,
Yeah.
like what happens at the beginning of each
Something
game,
you
you're supposed to pick 3 things of the list. that you're
Or
gonna have.
during the game, you identify things you want to do. Either way
Right,
works
yeah.
fine. That way you don't have to be too prescribed.
That's what's curious. Like, does it just become a full clean slate, or can the stuff that you previously had still be
It's up
used?
to you. Okay. Totally up to you.
A lot of it depends on the
Or they already kind of named 3 things. So, and these are the 3 things that could possibly be used in your investigation, in the session, or in the your encounter.
I guess that's the nice part about one thing becoming another thing. So I was all like, I had a hand weapon, but now it becomes.
So with Lady Mechanicus up in the lead, Alexandra is tightly behind her. The rest of you, Roscoe's kind of in the middle, holding up the light, and all of you just are shuffling a little bit deeper in the tunnel. You can feel the decline of the tunnel. Got it just enough of an angle to keep a very slow movement of water coming from the bottom of the well.
I'm gonna whisper to Mechanica that Nero said to the left. Left. To the left.
And as you keep going down the tunnel, getting quieter, water's the only sound you can all hear equally. But for you, there's a noise here. Give me a sense, high risk.
I would like to send a drive.
Okay.
On the gilded?
On the gilded.
Hey.
Please, I get that back. The more you guys keep doing that, the more I can help you.
You feel it more than hear it. But in your mind, image, there's something consuming something up ahead. You can hear teeth digging into flesh. You hear marrow being sucked from bone. You can hear organ being shoved into a mouth. You can hear the sound of something consuming something else. There's a moment, there's a brief moment where the telekinetic nature kicks in. And you just feel this feral energy up ahead.
Be on alert. There's a creature up ahead that is eating something.
I don't hear
I
anything.
whisper.
You guys don't hear anything.
I'm trying to be quiet.
So silent.
So you guys continue creeping up through the tunnel, getting closer and closer to the thing that you're sensing.
I'm going to hand my sticky substance to because she's in the front, right? And she can actually hear what's going on.
Yeah, and the tunnel's only wide enough for single file. So you guys have to like reach over each other to kind of like hand things.
And I'm going to
So the question I have, are you guys trying to be sneaky at all? Okay.
And I'm going to hand her my rifle because I'm going to put my arm out because
I'm just not good with the rifle.
okay. I hand it to you.
Literally, I have this 20-pound rifle like pinky tape. You want to pass it off to Nero?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
well, I'll
You can straddle it.
Sling it over.
Yeah.
the back of my hand.
Yeah.
The new essence in my hand containing the bleed.
Yeah.
Especially with the bleed container going off like crazy. I'm gonna keep
Detector.
No.
My hand forward.
The bleed detector going off. Like
Oh,
crazy.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you keep your hand up in front of you as you. Roscoe's holding the flashlight. I'll put him in like right behind Alexandria and you, and bring him in the middle. Kind of holding the flashlight up to give you guys enough light as the three of you are creeping forward. The two of you are a little bit further back, but watching them begin to creep forward.
Hey, well, since I'm in the middle, kind of like when I go by the body, I want to check that body out.
Okay, you crawl, you creep past it. You can give me a focus as you look down at the body.
5.
But it's pretty heavily mutilated, but because Mechanicus gave you a warning of what to expect, it doesn't affect you like it affected her. It is, you can see a patch on their shirt. It's the Bradley Construction Company on the shirt. It's soaked in blood, multiple strange small bite marks, and the major trauma to its skull has been split and kind of blossomed backwards, almost like something penetrated its front, blew it out from behind.
Okay,
Or like something
Or
busted
like
out of his
a-
mouth.
I run back to the rope and I climb up.
Something jammed into it and then split it wide open like a big thing.
I'm gonna.
Which way like this?
Oh, so that
How many dynamites do we have?
3.
Okay, 3 sticks. Question is, did you bring it with you? Who has?
Yeah, I thought they gave it to me.
Okay, so you have
I brought it with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll keep going. Not quite ready
Yeah, the
yet.
3 of you bringing up the front, you kind of right behind them.
I'm staying as
Nero.
further back because I have a gun. And
Yeah.
I don't need.
And Nero's bringing up the back point. Nero, give me a move, if you would, please. High risk. You cannot have help.
Don't trip.
I help them.
I'll use the drone.
Why can't we help him?
We do also have
4.
2 dice.
4.
All right. I'm probably going to do that if I need to
use
move at
that
all.
the group one?
If you wanted to, absolutely.
Yes.
Use your dice.
As everybody is moving,
You know what? I'm gonna use the resistance. I'll
go for it. Yeah,
I mean, it was a success, but it was like
it was a low end mixed success in a high risk situation.
6.
All right.
Nice.
a 6 and a 1.
Don't you just love that?
Thanks, Jack. What we do is, because we're still kind of learning the game, this will probably be the last session we do that we do that, but I like to, as we're learning Candela Obscura, I like to give them a little bit of an edge so that they can start spending their points and spending their action economy so they can kind of see how important it is to kind of pay attention. So it's a good point. Thank you.
We did not do that in the first turn, and we
Oh,
spent
you
so
know,
many
saying
things.
generous DM to get the high risk heads up. So 6. You lose focus of them for a moment. You turn back, and there's a slime trail on your shoulder. Something was about to grab you, but you noticed it, and it recoiled. You look. It's anything.
I'll let the party know we got company behind us.
And do it. We're in a mimic.
As you guys move forward, you hear an echo. You hear Nero's voice. Something behind us. As you're up near the front, the tunnel comes into an exposed small cavern. You see 3 more bodies on the ground. You see, and you know what it is through historical studies, up and side and bent and twisted into parts and pieces like it's been attacked. Pieces of an astrolabe. You watch something slinks. And it slinks into the debris of the astrolabe. Need you to give me a move? You hear Nero yell out a warning.
And I'm going to use an extra D6, my extra D6.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
spent any of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Spend resistance to reroll.
Worth it.
6 and a 5.
Just as you hear Nero's warning, a fleshy protrusion comes jutting out from the debris. It hits the rock right behind your head, and it digs into it and shatters it, blows it into almost like a plume of rock, and it recoils across the ground.
I'm going to reach over and grab it.
With your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You can give me a. That feels like
Because I can drain the bleed from it.
feels like a control finesse that you try to grab onto it.
Throw the sticky stuff at it.
Sleight of hand. Reroll it.
Floor dice. Floor dice. Floor dice are the best dice. That could suck.
That was a 1
And the 3.
and a 3.
So you take. I mean, are any of them gilded?
I'm going to take another resistance.
Okay, reroll. Are any of these gilded for
No.
for control? Okay.
Oh, wait. No. Actually, no. But
Only your box.
4. Mixed success. It allows you to touch the fleshy protrusion as it recoils from you, but it's not enough to allow you to hold on to it and try to contain. And you feel the metal of your hand and the little edges of your unrefined parts of your hand dig into the fleshy protrusions. You're going to take a bleed as your mind very briefly interacts with raw flare, raw magic, raw energy of nothing like you've ever felt or interacted with before. You immediately recoil in fear and pain. Your mind a blur, like never feeling anything like that before. And then you hear, and you look up, and there's 6 more clinging to the inverted ceiling of the chamber.
The game, and I'm shooting.
You can't see them.
I can't.
You're
I see them.
too far back, and you don't have the right angle.
I,
You hear Elizabeth fire. You hear it ricochets off the roof and kind of the creature, all their mouths kind of opening, and then you see little miniature tendrils with small mouths on them, kind of poking and prodding at the air. You don't see any eyes. And as she shot out of fear, you realize they quivered, shocked, like they didn't know what was going on. You pick up on the fact that they're hypersensitive.
We need to make a lot of noise.
One of my concoctions could make a really
I
nice
take one of the.
sound.
I take one of the.
Take time.
That's good.
So you want to say you had one already ready to go.
How much?
Yeah, you guys are trying to figure out what to do. You can see Lady Mechanicus like freaking out up front, like she's looking at something. You watch as a stick of dynamite goes flying over
Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Alexandria Mechanicus' head. And you grab Mechanicus and pull her back. Give me a strike.
Nero, back, up the
Toss.
tunnel, Nero, up, go, up.
Again, everything we do is high risk.
I'm going to give you a drive.
Nero,
You're gonna give me drive.
back up. You're the back of the tunnel. You cannot escape if you are in here. And if this thing collapses,
Area around the
no,
Not much.
no. Nobody can get by.
Nobody. It's like you guys have to help each other pass each other.
There's something behind us too.
And we will shoot it.
We're stuck.
Should you give him a drive and I give him a drive?
Sure.
There may be something behind us that maybe we can capture it, but we cannot stay here. If we were,
Okay. Oh,
Like she turns to yell just as you see him toss a stick of dynamite up in front of the tunnel. Where'd you get?
2 6s and 2
if
4s.
this tunnel
2
collapses,
sixes.
we all dead.
Is
No.
it a gilded
No.
skill? Okay. So as
I
you
am pushing him towards the thing.
I see him.
yeah, you see him because it's lit and it's
Open my mouth.
as you start racing back towards the well bottom, because you're only 30 feet away from it. You guys didn't get very far in.
There's something behind it. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was probably on the ceiling.
Always above us.
It's
Maybe.
calling him.
You can actually give me a focus as you start running to see if maybe you can see where it was or where it went.
In the drive.
And makes you wonder. A 5.
5. As you go back and you stumble into the single opening to see where the pulling rope
What are you
is,
doing?
you look around. You don't see anything until you
No, not right now.
see it
Yeah,
climbing
play your
up the
cats.
edge of the well. Gigi,
Oh,
give
dang
me
it.
a sense high risk.
Yell out a warning.
If you yell out a warning, you get an extra D6 on your roll.
Look at Gigi, something's coming up towards you.
See if you can capture it. We want to experiment on
No.
it later.
And the three of you pull her, and the three of you are hightailing it towards the well at this point. Your aim, perfect. It arcs over Mechanicus, falls into the center of the open chamber, and you've got about 20 seconds on that fuse before it goes off.
2 6s, 1 on the gilded.
Okay.
It's already destroyed.
It's already destroyed.
As you
Well, it's already-
as you look over the edge of the well, hearing Nero's voice, you see this abomination. It's 3 feet long, but it's gelatinous flesh with small mouths on its form. Its huge mouth is like gurgling out this kind of like viscous drool as it's slowly climbing up towards you, but you don't see eyes. You just see that as noise is being absorbed by it, its body quivers as it's reacting to the noise. And it's
No, just
so strike with your brass knuckles.
with my brass knuckles. I'm fat.
Okay.
Grab it. We want to hold on to it.
It's got arcane magic. It's got things that can
So
take.
go ahead and give me a strike. And remember, your brass knuckles can absorb a bleed.
That's what I was like with it.
Okay, Mama. Oh, you know what? I owe you.
We can experiment this on later. It'll be great. How it seems.
Anything else? We'll give it to Mama.
You do some kind of collector.
I can only give you the one. That one's yours. Please don't step on it. Don't step on it. Thank you.
That seemed to be his favorite one.
All right. So what'd you get? 5. Mixed success. You would normally take a bleed, but because of your brass knuckles, it absorbs it. You slam your fist into it just as it gets about up to the point it's coming over. You get the feeling it actually hears the wind tearing through your punch because it begins to quake as if sensing where you are. These multiple protrusions of mouths start to jet towards you, but you slam right into like the mucus form of the body,
I feel like
stunning
I
it.
screamed and like disorganized it, just kind
Yeah, like you scream inside of it, right? And it quivers and stun, and as your fist jams into it, and your brass knuckles absorbing the bleed effect, it kind of envelops your hand. So as you pull back, its carcass just falls to the ground, twitching, and then lies still.
Oh, so we have it. Wonderful done. Good job, Gigi.
Can we get up, please?
So one by one, quickly. You're all hitting up the pulley. As each person gets up there, the next person's pulling up the next person. All of you hear it. Explosion. Unfortunately, what you didn't know,
There were people down there we could have saved.
no, there were 2 crates of dynamite that they had left down there by mistake. So as Roscoe and Alexandra are kind of like the last 2 pulled up over the edge of the well, there's a tremor that just arcs out. Around you, the well is falling down around you. You can see that it's giving way directly under your feet. I need everybody to give me a move.
Can I borrow this, guys? Because I have only 1 drive and I can't move very well. So,
Give you a drive in.
I got a 4.
okay, I'm using my drive and I'm using her drive. So,
Should I? Wait a minute. Should I do a resistance? No.
well, if you save your drive, I can just use those, right? Yeah.
Everybody thinks we do.
Ashley, no plan to court, please.
What are you doing?
Okay, Nero, what'd you get? Okay. Okay, hold on. We're going to go in order. Everyone roll. It's a big deal. 5 for Nero. 5 for Gigi. 6 for Chaos. 6 for Mrs. Chaos.
4.
4. 4. So with that, as all of you scatter after the explosion, you're watching the ground collapse under your feet. You're climbing over ruin. All of you take a body, except for those that roll a 6.
I rolled a 6.
But you two just kind of already feeling the tension of being in too many dangerous situations. Using that elevated fear factor, scramble away. It's like at one point you pass by Nero and the others as if they're standing still.
As I'm calling back to it, they're all like, "See, I told you we should have."
Yeah, you're like all of you are scrambling away. You're watching the ground collapse away from you, and it's just utter chaos of the debris. You can see other bits of ruins that were built up, kind of collapsing in on themselves. That's when you begin to realize as you're running, the ground is like Avengers style collapsing behind you for like the first movie, the Captain America, or when Loki comes in, and like you're all just running and running, and it stops. You look back, everything behind you is just a collapsed in detritus pile, crater.
I believe we have contained explosive leaf. Good job, everyone.
I got a souvenir. Hold the skeleton on my hand.
I have done something illegal.
Another session there. Let's go ahead and do the circle activities first. So, did we contain or destroy some yes. You provide comfort or support for those affected.
No.
There was no.
Dead people of burial.
There was nobody. We didn't compress anybody to help.
Yeah, no.
So no on that one.
We gave monkey tea.
Oh
He's
my
not affected
God.
by bleed. He's
Okay,
affected
come
by
on.
your humps. Did you bring something of
Which
importance
ones?
back for Candela? You brought the things of that creature's form. So that's 2 points so far. Now, Nero, any of your keys? Did you pull any of those off?
I think I spotted a roost and the thing was above me.
Yep, that's good right there.
I did 2 of them. I arcane text and collected an odd beat.
There you go.
I refer to my research quite often, and I always got the plan.
Okay,
I consulted my text.
you did. Roscoe P. Coltrane.
I did something illegal.
Yes, you did.
You're so happy about that.
It's on the straddle of nature. So that's 2 for the illumination questions and 4 for the keys. So that's 6 points. Come my son. Get you. Put you on. The big giant comes in to get you.
So we did do one of the milestones. What did we get for the milestone?
You get get one of either. You get one of your stitches refreshed.
Stitches.
Stitches.
Stitch back.
Depends on the circle skills that you have. Other than that, nope. The only other thing you get is for circle of dance. So, that in mind, the terrifying conclusion next Monday will be our final Obscura session for this particular chapter that we're in. Whether or not it concludes the circle or not, we'll see how the end of the chapter goes. After Labor Day, we start back up with Pike's Promise after Labor Day, which is the 4th, I believe, is Labor Day. We'll
So
be
we're not meeting on the 4th?
No, we are not. We are taking the 4th off. It'll be a holiday. I'm also giving one of my professional tables that day off, so I can have Saturday and Monday off. Whether or not I have a Sunday session, I'm not sure yet. But anyways, I want to thank a couple of groups that rated us today. We got revisited. Not only did we get rated by Age of Geeks, I love that name. Table of Horrors came back and rated us earlier today as well. So,
Figure it out. You.
so with that, everybody, thank you for joining us. Hope you had some fun. Really having fun with Candela Obscura. We will probably start up another chapter after we play some more Pike's Promise. But we may even do a couple one shots from now and then. So good night, everyone. Be safe, be kind. Don't forget.
Wow. That's a thing. Do that.
Don't play with us though. You'll be sorry.